And we are live. So, yeah, I was at the store, just going around like shopping, and we went to a local, I guess, reuse it shop,
Yep.
and I found this Logitech NASCAR series wheel and pedals. It was like $13 just sitting there, dude.
Uh,
And I
one
was
of
like,
those. I can't help it. I gotta buy it.
yeah, I'm like, that really looks good for $13. I might as well take a chance. I took a chance,
Well,
and I was disappointed at first because it, for some reason, when I play American Truck Simulator in Linux, the brake is always on. So if you take your foot off the gas, you completely stop. But if I put it into Windows and played it on there, I had to install the software for it or whatever, and it's working fine. It's working perfect. So, hey, for $13,
exactly. Can't complain about that, man. So, Rocco, is there anything on your Steam wish list there, buddy?
oh, there's all kinds of stuff on my Steam wish list, dude.
I was gonna say, I think I got it. I got the pop up on my phone for like all the
The
an
80
item.
million pop-ups.
Well, the one that talks about is like, oh, is there something on sale on your wish list or whatever from the
Yeah,
Steam Android app? I looked at the email. It's like there are 60 items on your wish
I
list.
got, I got 57 on my wish list.
I looked at them. I was like, the Steam summer sale has begun.
Yep.
And
Well,
I tell myself I'm not going to buy games. I literally send you a message on Telegram. I'm not going to buy any more games. Lo and behold, 3 minutes later, I buy games.
oh my gosh. Well, there's some on there that, I mean, like, okay, like I put some on the wish list that I would probably never play anyway. It's just they looked interesting at the time. Like there's some I don't even remember putting on here. Like there's a
Well, it's
game
like,
called Kona.
yeah, it's like a side scroller type interesting. Yeah, yeah, I know. I roughly know what that is. Looks artistically nice.
But I don't think I would ever. I mean, like I put it on there a long time ago, but I don't think I would ever play it.
Well, I was gonna say, if you play a lot of one game, that does tend to help too. There, just saying.
Well, I mean, I got Infinite Warfare on my wish list, but it's not something that you know what I mean, I have to have. But like I got Quern Undying Thoughts, and that's, I don't know if you ever seen Artist
Is that
Caleb
like,
on YouTube.
yeah? Isn't Corn that like Myst type game, if I remember
Yes.
correctly?
Well, he did the voiceover. Artist Caleb actually did the voiceover for the professor, I think, in Quern.
Oh, nice.
So that's on my list. That's at 17.49 though. I mean, I'm not into. I mean, it's cheap, but it's just, I mean, I don't want to just blow 17.49 for no reason.
Well, I was gonna say, you got to remember, cheap for us is 80% off.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I'm scrolling down, and I even got Lego games because I was always into the Lego games,
Yeah,
and
but
they're
the
all
Lego game.
4.99.
I was gonna say the Lego games are always fun though.
Yeah, they are. They are fun, but like I
Like,
said, they're all 4.99.
I was gonna say they're cheesy fun. I mean, but they're fun.
But I
And
would never pay for them. Like their normal price is 19.99. I'm not going to pay 19.99 for that. I may
well,
buy one or two if I was, if I had extra money for when they're on sale. But you know,
no, I hear you. Well, it's like a couple of the games that I just bought, if I can actually find them, because for those that want to know how big my Steam collection is currently, Rocco just heard me say this not that long ago and about laughed his butt off. Currently, if you count all my Windows games, I have 486. Those are all bought,
486.
and about 150 of those are playable on Linux. The last three games that I bought BlazBlue Continuum Shift, which is like a 2D sprite-based fighter. I bought 1979 Revolution Black Friday, and I bought Sword Coast Legends. 2 of the 3 are available for Linux. I think I spent $12 total. I have Blaze Blue on my Vita, and that's usually where I've experienced that particular game. But at $3.99, I was like, you know what? I'll get the second one. Why the heck not? And Sword Coast Legends is a D&D like isometric game, kind of like is it Temple of Elemental Evil, like that old last like decent
Yeah.
D&D game.
Well, I even have like Sherlock Holmes games on here that I have on my wish list. I mean, I think the early ones are like $2.49 on sale. So there's all kinds of stuff on my wish list. Rocket League, it's down to its lowest price ever, $11.99. Still hasn't pushed me over the edge to buy it.
If it hits like $9.99 is when I'll probably buy it. But I know that's how that rolls usually. So,
and I got Black Mesa on here, and I guess that's that mod for Half-Life 2. Firewatch, which is another I guess
walking simulator.
Yeah, click adventure there. And the only Call of Duty games that I don't own are the Infinite Warfare and Black Ops, the first one. The only 2 that I don't own, so.
Let's see. Call of Duty. The last Call of Duty I have, according to Steam. Where are you? That list is currently still installed. I have Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That was the last Call of Duty I ever bought or played.
Well,
there's only
of course you have to buy the deluxe version or the gold version of Infinite Warfare to get the updated Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Well, oh no! According to Kotaku, now they're actually going to spin off the remaster as a single game, but at $40.
They've been saying that for how long now, though?
With none of the map packs.
Wow, that's so awesome, man! Thanks for doing that.
So, how many map packs are available for the remaster now? $15 a whack. So you're probably ridiculous. You're talking probably spending at least another $80 for that game.
Guess I'll turn the AC off so I stop the sound in the background. I'm sure that sounded great.
I don't know. I can't say much, so.
Yeah, well, I may turn it back on. Last week, that was a 4-hour chat, man. And it was like 100 degrees in this room because of all these lights and everything. And no fans. It was hot, I have to say.
Yeah, I imagine. I was saying, I know last there was no air moving outside either the other day, that Friday. So,
all right. So what else do we have here, man? I have in my no, that's my friends list. Where is my library and my wish list that I was discussing? That we were discussing that I'm not buying. Oh, For Honor is on the wish list, but I started like there when they had the whatever beta it was, or I started to play that, and I was kind of like, I was really hoping, because I'm like a Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor fan, so I was hoping that it was something like that, and it is, but something like that, but not nowhere near it. So I was kind of disappointed, so I didn't buy it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as a Ubisoft, I'm never sure how I feel about them.
I got Assassin's Creed Syndicate on my wish list, although I do have that in Uplay, but I don't want to start up Uplay just for Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
I don't blame you, because the last Assassin's Creed I played was 3, and it was terrible. When the only good part of the entire game is the naval combat.
Well, I played the first one, and that was it. I played the first one and then the Syndicate. I skipped all the rest.
If you play a solid number entry, play 2, skip 3. How do I explain that? 2 gives you a character you can actually kind of get behind. 3, the main character is just very bland.
Right.
So like if you're playing for the story, it's kind of hard to be like, it feels like a chore almost. Whereas 2 is kind of like, oh, hey, I don't actually have to.
Right.
I actually want to play, not feel like I'm just doing this for achievements.
Yeah. So I have a game in here that I put on my wish list a long time ago. Don't laugh. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Out of the Shadows. And it's gone like as far as there's no link to the store page or anything now. I wonder what happened to that. Like the store page, unless all the store pages direct you to the summer sale, unless they're doing that to you, but I don't see it on there anymore.
MT Out of the Shadows. Nah, it looks like they took it down. At least according to Steam search.
Hey, it's on my wish list, but they must have took it down. I don't know what happened to it.
Who knows at this point?
I mean, not that I'm not dying that I can't have it. It's just weird. And a couple of these on my wish list are free to play. Why are they still on my wish list? Double Action and Dirty Bomb are on my wish list, but free to play. How's that possible?
Were they early access games at the point they went on your list, maybe?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Don't feel bad. Like half the games that are here on my wish list, I'm like, I don't remember adding that. It's like it's like, why do I have Smite on my wish list when it's free to play?
Yeah. Yeah, Shane, we're using the same link, yes. Because I didn't add them to my library yet. So let me... Yeah, but if I go to the page, all it gives me is a play game link.
Which essentially is what happens with the free to play stuff. It'll just go to like the install process.
So it doesn't give you it doesn't give me the or unless that actually does the install process and puts it in
I was going to say that initializes the install process. Okay. So it adds it to your library. I only know this because I just recently re-downloaded PlanetSide 2. And which is free to play. And right. Oh, hey, look, I forgot how Steam does this now.
All right. Let's see what else. The last couple of things I got in my wish list are a couple Batman games.
Which ones?
Arkham Origins.
Oh, that's the prequel to the Arkham Asylum and City.
Yes, because I think I have Arkham Asylum, and then there's Arkham Knight,
which is the newest one, which people either love or hate depending on who you ask.
Yeah, and then all my Lego games and Verdun, which I never. It was one of those games where it looks like it's gonna be okay, but then it never really plays out well. And that's just what it looks like. I mean, like a lot of the ones like what is it, Rising Storm, and all of them spin-offs, they just don't have the right feel in the gameplay, in my opinion, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's kind of like when I play. Have you ever played like any of the PS3 game, like any like console first FPSs?
Long time ago.
You know how like the controls feel almost a little too like, I don't want to say floaty, but imprecise because of the analog sticks and stuff. That's what I get a lot of those type of games like Verdun and whatnot. They look really cool, but they're not up to my shtick as far as how I prefer.
Yeah, well, Mohawk was like the classic game, dude. That was like the game that started it for me. That was the first game that I ever played that felt like you were there. And for the time that it was in, now you go back and you play it now, and the graphics are, crappy or whatever, but at the time, it was awesome. In the graphics, it was awesome in the gameplay. It was just the one that did start it for me. And I played that single player over and over and over again. I played it for 6 months until I realized there was a multiplayer. And then I started playing multiplayer. I was like, what's multiplayer? I go in and I'm playing. And it was just like everything opened up. It was like, oh my gosh, I can play these maps. And there's another person on the other side playing the same maps. And it was just awesome.
I was going to say, back when Quake was a thing, way back in the day.
Yep. Shane wants to know if you're on your main rig.
And Shane, to answer your question, it's Manjaro KDE. Something Rocco can't get installed.
Stop
apparently.
it. Don't even start.
Which actually, you know what the funny thing is, Rocco? I actually use a Manjaro as the base for my home theater PC.
You're kidding.
I use essentially an Arch-based distro. It's because I don't feel like having to re-download and re-upload KDE all the time, so it's just easier for me. Like KDE and the base of KDE are the only things I have installed on the thing, and that is it.
Right.
I'm like, now if it breaks, it's something in KDE or KDE. I'm like, I can single those two out.
Well, believe it or not, Matt, I'm going on my 3rd week with this install that I haven't touched it, as far as I haven't moved away from it.
Are you still on Ubuntu?
Yeah, but I'm not. I mean, I'm running GNOME, you know, but it's got the GNOME Cinnamon and Unity installed side by side. But I'm still running it, and still, I mean, I don't know why I'm not changing, but I'm not changing.
You will until you want some updated software.
Well, no, I mean, like, well, there's so much going on with GNOME right now. There's so many extensions coming out, so many things that that the community is adding, because Canonical's backing them and everything, and it makes it kind of like, I don't know, exciting somewhat, so that you're not bored with it.
I get that.
Am I like wrong? I mean, like, usually when I'm switching, it's because I'm bored with it. I'm bored with something.
Right now, the cool how do I say that? The cool thing with like Ubuntu based distros right now is you don't know where they're gonna go, because everything from Linux Mint, Elementary, all these other, like, that has essentially disrupted anything that is like .deb based throughout the entire Linux eco.
Right.
So the things that they do, that Canonical decides to do now, people are going to be paying attention to, because you don't know which way they're going to go. And that is really intriguing to people who like to distro hop, because the whole reason we distro hop is because we want new stuff and we like the unknown.
Well, there's the whole thing about KDE, how they constantly update and how they constantly bring new features, and that's part of the draw to KDE, is because you do have that constant update and constant feature. It's my phone. Constant feature set, and with you're finally starting to see that pace come around with GNOME, and it's, like I said, it's not boring anymore. So that's the only thing that I can say that is reason why I haven't switched as of yet.
What's going on, Toss?
No sound, brother. No sound.
No sound, bud. You mean Pulse Audio is having issues? Is this Ubuntu 804 all over again?
Gotta have some coffee.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
There we go. Now we
There
can
he
hear
is.
Okay,
What's
I
happening?
see what you're saying. Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, man.
you. Like I said, was this Ubuntu 804 again when they first put out Pulse? Bad days.
Bad days.
It's Linux. It's unpredictable, right?
Yeah, but what did I read about? What did I read about Fedora? Something about they want to do something with Pulse Audio. I can't remember the headline.
What's this Fedora you speak of?
Yeah, right. No, there was a news headline or somewhere where one of the podcasts. Hey Zeb,
Hey, Zeb.
what's going on, man?
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, this is a lively bunch tonight.
Oh, well, because we know.
Gee, no wonder Rob fell asleep watching this from Linux Quest. You got to go to bed.
You have to make it exciting there, Tulsa. You have to make it exciting.
I was going to say, we don't have Ski here to make fun of his technical issues this time.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be around sometime.
Are you sure his potato can handle it?
He might need to get a new squirrel.
More potassium, yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
No, I did a live feed tonight around 8 o'clock. Something called a Textalyzer. I don't know if you guys heard of it.
No. What is it?
It's a device like a breathalyzer, but basically, say you're in an accident and the cop sees your phone there, he attaches this device to your phone to see if you were texting or doing something right before you wrecked the car. It's something that came out last year, but this year, I believe New York has adopted it, and they should. But yeah, say you're in a wreck, and not necessarily your fault, but let's say you're in a wreck, the officer can take your phone, hook it up to the machine is by a company called Cellbrite. Cellbrite is a device that lets you transfer info, contacts from cell phone to cell phone. You hook it up to this tablet device, your phone, and he backtracks like a minute or two before you're wrecked to see if you were texting at the time you wrecked. Obviously for certain reasons, but it's called the Textalyzer. And
that's legal?
I believe New York wants to adopt it to make it like a standard. Well, think about it. If you get pulled over and they do a breathalyzer test, isn't that legal?
Yeah.
If you were drinking, right? But I think with this right now, they may have to get some kind of a warrant or something. I'm not sure. But it was on NPR radio several months ago. I kind of let it go. But then they showed just a couple of days ago a dash cam video of a person driving and hitting this person head on because they were texting. I mean, it was nasty. I think no one got seriously hurt. But now there's talk of, okay, well, it's called the Textalyzer. It's meant to stop distracted driving. But then is it an invasion of privacy? Because theoretically, they can download everything off your phone. Well, I don't think they should do that. But my thing tonight was on the live feed, I was saying, this is what it is. This is what's going on. And one thing about that report, 47 states made texting and driving illegal. That means it's legal in 3 states. Why?
Right.
But anyway, they're saying there were some blogs saying, can this save lives or is it an invasion of privacy? And my thought was, you have every right to text on your phone. You have every right to be stupid. But your right ends when you endanger lives. And that's how I feel about it. So,
Well, surely there's just going to be a raft of videos now of people sitting in their cars refusing to open the windows when they're going through a DUI or they're going through one of these Textalyzer things.
I don't know where it goes from here. But it's bad. I mean, even here where I live, people are stupid driving, and they're not even texting and driving.
Yep.
It's bad. It's this. Well,
they're doing everything on their phone but driving.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea, but as you say, how far do they go? Do they start reading your text messages, or can they see them, or does this thing just show that texts were received?
Do assert it's the Textalyzer, just like it sounds, and they've tested it. It works. They had a reporter, I think, from the USA Today, and he was doing his erratic driving, and he was trying to text and drive, and he stops, and the officer's there with the machine and see, well, you were texting at this time at 235.3 seconds or 235.14 seconds. Sure enough, it works. Well, I mean, it's meant to discourage, to stop. I don't know if it'll stop, but it's meant to prevent this, what's called distracted driving. And sure, what about the privacy issue? I totally agree. But if you gotta be that completely idiotic, I think you forfeit your right to privacy, especially if you hit someone and almost kill someone.
I found this article. It's actually April 2016 it was written, so it's been around a while.
Yeah, the original, yeah, but now just this past, like a few days ago, there was an updated story about this, and it's I mean, I see it here. I'm sure you guys see it in your cities, and you know, I've often told my friends, and sometimes on my channel, never underestimate the power of stupidity. I'm not trying to be funny, but in this situation, stupidity has the power to kill.
Well, but I have to disagree to a certain point. Who's got their stream? Live stream? Why am I hearing an echo?
Mine's okay.
I'm not hearing anything.
Okay. All right. I was hearing an echo. Anyway, I have to disagree to a certain extent because, you know, at what point do you stop invading privacy? Because that's where it's going to get to the point where you start doing everything, monitoring everything in the name of safety. And that's where it's going to go bad because you're going to have, look, if you take out texting and you put this into place, you're going to have something else that's going to distract people. It's not the phone that's distracting people. It's the people trying to do other things and allowing themselves to be distracted. So you can take away the phone, you can take away whatever else, but for years it was people, whatever, it was applying makeup, it was reading the newspaper, it's everything. It's everything. So I kind of like, at some point you got to respect privacy. And I understand your point, Toss, with, you know, you lose your right to privacy if you're going to act stupid, but I don't feel that if I'm in an accident that they have the right to basically rip open my phone because they want to see if for some reason I was texting. I think that's going a little bit overboard.
I was going to say, I think personally for me, my biggest gripe with it is who determines what distracted driving is. Oh, I looked over my shoulder. Does that mean I was distracted for the 3 seconds where I hit somebody? Because the simple fact of the matter is it's such a vague term. And if it's the government applying stuff, you don't know how big of a net they're going to cast as far as what it ends up being called distracted driving.
Yep.
And that is where you really get into the slippery slope. And that's where, personally, for me, I find the issue with what Rocco mentioned is privacy, is because, no offense, I don't want the government all up in my business all the time. They're already up in it enough as it is.
Yep.
It's a trade-off. And I'm totally with you guys, but it's maybe it's part of my New York attitude saying, how stupid can you be to text and drive, especially with your brand new car or whatever. It's a trade-off, but that's my personal opinion. I mean, who knows how the other states will adopt this besides the state of New York. But how do you save lives? I really don't know. I don't know if there's an all-for-one answer.
There isn't. That's the problem, and yeah. they want to try to make it all for one. This is like Microsoft with Windows 8 trying to put a one-size-fits-all kind of equation onto.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is worldwide because it happens in London. I mean, during the 80s. I mean, okay, it's a few years ago now, but I was a bus driver, and you get a unique view of what's happening in the cars. And you would be surprised what people were doing before the phones came out. Instead of driving, there'd be it might be a traffic jam, but sometimes that's the worst places when you get these silly little shunts and all the rest of it. But even on motorways, they just do the craziest things. Like they'll be eating a bowl of cereal. How the hell did they get a bowl of cereal in the car? And why did they think it was right to eat while you're driving? I mean, it's cereal, a bowl of cereal. I saw somebody once.
I could see a Big Mac, but the cereal.
No, I saw somebody eating a bowl.
Oh, he was on a diet. Got it. Okay.
Just madness.
No, it's the same concept with, I mean, I don't want to get into all political, but it's the same concept with anything, especially, I won't get all political. I'll leave that out. But you can't fix stupidity. Okay. It's just, you can't fix that. Whether you take away phones, whether you take away you can't fix stupidity. If they're going to be stupid, they're going to be stupid with whatever they have. So I just don't think that's the answer. That's my opinion.
I agree. I was going to say, as much as I'm not a Ron White fan, he does have a CD is you can't fix stupid. And unfortunately, humans, generically speaking, not all of us, a good chunk of us lack that whole common sense thing. I'm driving something at 60 miles an hour, multiply that by the weight. That's what we essentially call a dangerous weapon. Why do we allow those on the road then?
Yep.
So, that is basically how I view it. And that's all.
It's an epidemic. I mean, it really is. In 2015, I got to remember now what I did on my live event. There were like 3,800 deaths and over 600,000 injuries because of cell phones, whatever. That's a lot, and that's 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if I'm in an accident, God forbid, me or family or friend, and the cop says, okay, one of you guys are at fault. I want to see your phones and see which one. No problem. Here's my phone, officer. I would have no problem because I know it's not my fault. So
it's not a matter of having a problem with them seeing the information on the phone. It's the fact that they have the ability to see the information on your phone without your permission in an accident. And that's where I have the problem. It's not, like I said, there's nothing to hide on my phone. I mean, you could pick it up now and look at it, but I don't feel like I want it open so that, and especially if I don't have the say-so, if they're going to be able to take it without my permission and look into it, that's a whole nother ballgame there.
Well, and I guess one way to do this is to ask your permission. And if you say no...
Well, that's the thing. Can you say no? I mean, and then it's really not your permission.
Right now you can. And then if you say no, then I think they need a search warrant. Right. But if you say no, is that an admission of guilt?
Well, it shouldn't be, but it may be looked at one.
Personally, I don't have a problem. Go ahead.
Yep.
Look at my pictures of my, the sky and the grass I just, took the other day at the, my car. But
my phone tends to be in my pocket when I'm driving anyway, so that there is no that distraction. In fact, I also turn it off because otherwise you go, oh, who's on the phone? Do they want me? Is it important?
Yep.
No, what's important is concentrate on where you're going, get there safe, and then you can answer them.
Well, I try to drive with the Bluetooth, so if it rings, I just because I'm still doing this, but I don't have a problem because a lot of newer cars today have built-in Bluetooth, assuming that you use it, of course. But just the other day I was driving home. It was a residential area here, it is, and guy was coming this way. There's a stop sign, just went right through, went to turn right, and if I was in a hurry, if I wasn't paying attention, he probably would hit me, or I would have hit him. But I hit the brakes just enough so the anti-lock brakes didn't click. Come on. He gave a quick look, and instead of saying or waving, I'm sorry, he just kept right on going.
Yeah.
Okay, if you gotta go, you gotta go. But I stopped giving the finger and yelling a long time because it doesn't solve squats. I just let him go. There was a car coming this way, and the driver kind of looked at me, smiled. I'm like, yeah, I know. Sooner or later, that guy's going to get hit.
It
Yep.
just gets you more stressed. It just gets you more upset if you can't vent your anger and you don't see a reaction from them. Don't bother.
There was a comic that said, of course, this would probably cause more problems, but the comic said your cell phone number should be your license plate number. So if you do something stupid, I can call. So what the bleepity bleep? Oh, that'll make the road safer, you know.
Well, see, all I really want is a crossbow mounted to the front of the car so that when people do something stupid, I can just take out a tire. That's all I really want to do.
Like
is take out their tire and
James Bond car.
Exactly.
Nothing fancy. Maybe a couple Stinger missiles in front.
I mean, I don't want to hurt them.
Else.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt them. I just want to take out a tire and let them go off.
Okay,
the road,
fire a warning shot. There you go.
All right, I'll leave.
We're back to Carmageddon, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess we are.
Exactly. Anyway, that is the Textalyzer. But yeah, I uploaded a news article yesterday, and I thought tonight, because it's been raining on and off and thunderstorm, and it was too wet to go out, I thought I would jump on live and mention it because it is a good topic. Everybody's got their own thoughts. I think
everybody's got their opinion on it, man.
Exactly.
It's going to affect everybody sooner or later, whether it's your fault or not. So
yeah. Well, I think that's where we can't let it get to, because we're just slowly getting to that point where we're accepting more and more and more things like this that are just small increments, minor inconveniences. Some people would say minor invasions of privacy. Others would say that just end up, when you look at the years down the road, they've all accumulated to the point where now a lot of us are okay with people seeing, this about us or that about us, where years ago we wouldn't have been okay with that. And I think it's slowly getting to the point where that's what they wanted to get to, I guess. I don't know. I don't know where the end game here is, but that's what they wanted to get to. They wanted to get to a point where we're okay with allowing them to come in and do anything they want.
I know. I guess marriage, I guess the people and the government, I guess it's like a partnership. It's like a marriage, and it can't be all one-sided.
Which, unfortunately, it is.
Currently,
are heading that way.
We'll see what happens. We'll see where the story goes. But it is going to be used. People are not going to stop texting and driving. So,
Well, here's an article you would like, Toss. And it's from OMG Ubuntu. And it says Joey's latest article. It says, "Are you a distro hopper?"
Oh, please.
Says Rocco, the founder of Distro Hoppers Anonymous.
I think that's meant for you and Rob, right? Yeah.
Well, actually, we talked about it. We recorded Destination Linux today, and we talked about it, had a conversation about it. But let's look at the results here, because there's a poll at the bottom of it. And it says, so the choices are yes, I'm a distro hopper when new releases come out. Yes, whenever I get bored. Yes, but not that often. Or no, I love my distro. So I'm a second tier. I used to be like the first one, like anytime a new release came out, I was on it. But I'm now in the category, I think, of yes, whenever I get bored.
I did so much hopping between 2006, 7, and maybe since last year. Like I said, I had a stack of bootable disks. Finally, I was like, what am I doing? But I've decided to stick with the Ubuntu base or Debian based, and the Ubuntu's, Linux Mints, the Zorans, and all that. I think it's best, in the long run, to keep your sanity. Just stick with one base and go with that. But I tried so many, I lost track. But really, just a handful are really polished, in my opinion. So I don't even.
You guys tried Ubuntu or its derivatives? Because I tried Calculate Linux yesterday, and really, okay, I got it installed, and then I tried to install something simple like Shutter. And then there's all these blocked packages. So I'd learn the commands to unblock them automatically, and it goes, no, you're not having this. You're not clever enough. I mean, what is that all about? How on earth can you install? And this was, as I say, Calculate Linux, and then work your way around a package manager like that. It's just ridiculous. So has anybody tried it?
No. Hold on. Let me look. I have not. Matt, have you tried it?
Nope. Calculate. No, I usually stay away from Gentoo based distros.
I mean, Sabian works because they have a software sensor. But with this Calculate, you have to just do everything manually. Simple stuff like LeafPad, yep, straight in. It works. Big deal. Whoopity-woo. OBS Studio, forget it. And they mask packages. And you have to unmask them at your own risk, whatever that means.
Well, I guess that means that it's stable, and if you want it to not be stable, you can install this, but...
Well, there's your next challenge for Rob.
The warranty is off.
There's the next Destination Linux challenge. A pair of you use Calculate for even 2 hours.
No.
It'll take me 2 hours to compile something because it's Gentoo.
Yeah. No, I've never installed Gentoo. So, and I'm, in the Telegram group, I trolled the comments of one of the guys in there, Max, who was installing Gentoo, and he was going step by step through what he was doing, and somebody was helping him, and it was painful. I mean, he had so many issues with it, and finally he gave up, and he was like, no, it's not worth it. And
yeah.
So no, I've never installed Gentoo, and I probably don't intend to either.
What about Slackware, Rob?
Slackware, no Slackware for me, man.
Yeah, but that works. I mean, I've used Salix and a couple of the other derivatives, and yes, it's painful, and yes, they have to jump between the package manager and the compiler, but you can get there, and I got a working system. The sudo reboot did a VM Slackware, Gentoo installed on his stream, and after 2.5 hours, the whole installation just went, and then he couldn't do anything with it, so he gave up.
Compile for days.
Yeah, madness. So no more Gentoo for me. I'll stick with the easy stuff.
That's an appropriate word, compile, as in a pile of
yeah.
Pile of TARPIZ packages. Yeah, right.
Well, you'll be happy to know that No, I Love My Distro is now at 37%, which is the highest. So I guess there's not a lot of distro hoppers out there.
Then again, that is OMG Ubuntu, which obviously is going to cater to, well, the Ubuntu people.
Well, there's 1,061 votes for No, I Love My Distro. There's actually 846 for yes, but not that often, and 691 for yes whenever I get bored.
Which is nearly 25%. So you say there's not a lot. That's a lot. 25%.
Yep. Almost 700 people just in that poll. So I guess DHA is going strong, huh?
It's why you're one of the founding members there, Rocco.
That's right. That's right. That's why we started it, to help people. You must have went through our meetings because you no longer distro hop.
12-step program.
Me and Rob founded Distro Hoppers Anonymous. So you must have went through the meetings somehow, subconsciously.
Well, thanks. I was anonymous. Now I'm not. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Pally.
Yeah, you got it, brother.
I was going to say, too bad that hasn't worked for me because I'm still distro hopping.
Well, I think after so many years, it stopped becoming fun, I suppose. I suppose here where I live in Ohio, when it's spring, summer, and the weather's nice, let me think. I could either distro hop to, Chabayon, whatever it's called. I'll go swimming. Boy, that's a tough one. The pool or a new distro? Pick one. I think I'll go with the pool. Thank you very much.
I don't know. I was going to say I'm in the same boat now. It's like I'll have like that one machine where it's just like I don't care if I blow stuff away on it all the time as far as like an install. But God, my like main rigs or stuff that I use like appliance, like I don't want a distro hop on. I just want to throw something on it. 20 minutes later, I have a distro installed, and I can just.
I mean, I have like 3 or 4 test machines where I install stuff, and I was doing this, for the course of a few years or more than a few years, because my channel still is for beginners, for newbies. But after a while, it's like there really are. I mean, if you go to DistroWatch, there's 100 listed, and I think there's a total of 600 distros that you can search when you count all the offshoots and the forks, and everything gets forked up, But out of everything that's based on Linux, maybe only 5 are really good, maybe 10 if you're lucky. I mean, polished, that can compete with Windows or iOS, maybe. I mean, the rest of it, it's for, for fun, for testing, for tweaking, for geeks. But that's the conclusion I've come to, really, probably since last year before. Because I remember, was it last year when Ubuntu came out with 16.04? I loved it. It worked on 2 machines. It was awesome. Then some of my friends on YouTube, this is the worst distribution they've released. I'm like, which is right? Well, I guess it all depends on the marriage of your hardware and software. But if Ubuntu had not dropped Unity, I would still have it. I really like it, but since they're officially stopped, I know there's someone going to fork it. Well, they can keep the fork, the spoon, and the pasta and everything else. So I don't want it. So,
I was going to say, if I'm going to run Ubuntu, it's going to be the 1604 base until that has no more support.
Yeah, the LTS, they will keep it supported until it runs out, if I recall, the LTS, until 2000 or something like that. But
2021.
So if you download the 1604, you'll still get Unity.
Yeah.
So when 1710 comes out, you won't be able to get Unity on that.
Yeah, the newer distros versions you will not be able to get Unity. Oh, it'll be in like the universal.
But
packages.
even after 1710 comes out, you can still download 16.4 and get Unity, right?
Okay.
Yes.
But haven't they said that when 1710 comes out, Unity will still be there, and you can choose to install it from the repos if you want?
Yeah. Unity will still be in like the universal repos. It's just not going to be like a default anymore. So you'll have to consciously choose to go and download it.
Okay.
Yeah, because when the 1710 daily builds came out a little bit ago, they had made the big deal that Unity wasn't even an option on the login screen. So I guess you can install it through the multiverse or whatever it is, universe, but it's not going to be there by default.
Okay. Well, I actually still have it in my ThinkPad. I have a test laptop, dual core with Unity that's still on there. I may keep that. I'm just too lazy to uninstall it and fix the MBR in Windows and all that stuff. But I'm just gonna leave it there for now. So I don't use that much. I'm either on my phone or on my tablets anyway. I don't do a lot of testing the full test I did. I think I mentioned this, Rocco. The last full test I did of a distro was last year with Manjaro, full install, and that lasted a few months, and that was it. Too many bugs and issues. I gave up. So But
I was gonna say, hey, is it redundant that I'm running Elementary OS on a partition on a Mac Mini?
Why would you do that?
You can call it Macamentary or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the mini-mentary there.
Well, when I'm just OS 10, as far as where I care about it, it was like, here's the screen, and it's like somewhere keep going down.
Elementary OS looks good. It looks terrific, but
hey, it really does. I mean, look, there's not a better looking distro out there,
right?
But don't try to customize it, man.
Quite as functionable, yes.
If you're gonna run it out of the box just the way it is, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But don't try to do anything with it, because
for us tweakers,
it's no good.
I was gonna say the 2 best looking distros, in my opinion, are Deepin and Elementary. And Deepin only because of the way the desktop more than the functionality.
Deepin is deep in it, all right. I tried it a couple times, didn't like it.
But don't you think Deepin's an awful lot like Solus, with its side panel that pops out?
I don't remember.
It's got like a notification panel, like the Raven
Okay.
panel from Solus.
Well, Deepin isn't that based out of China?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the way
Talking about privacy, right?
I was going to say the way I experience Deepin or the desktop anyway is through Manjaro. So,
hey, we had this conversation before. I just don't know how I feel about running that. I just don't know how I feel about running that. You know what I mean? Just from where it's based out of. You know, so it's not on my machine. Just for that reason.
I have a vision of Chinese hackers going, "Oh, we're gonna find out his passwords. We're gonna flame your wonton," or But I don't know.
Like I said, my experience with Deepin is mostly through the desktop on Manjaro. So,
right. All right. Does anybody know the shortcut to get a window out of the snap mode in GNOME?
don't use GNOME.
Yeah.
When you say out of snap mode,
Well, you know how you snap a window to the right side and it takes up half the screen? Got to be a shortcut because the title bar disappears and I don't want to mess up. I could get it out, but I would probably mess up the recording and I don't want to do that. So it's hoping there was a shortcut.
No mess found a home in Rocco's house. Not.
does one of the super keys work, i.e. super key up, down, left, right?
Oh, here we go. Hey, there it is. Super key plus right. You demand.
When all else fails, use the Windows key. It's Windows to the rescue, as usual.
Well, Zeb, thank you for that, but thank you for that help with the desktop stretching of the wallpaper because that did actually work. So that fix helped.
I should have remembered it last week because if you can't do it on the controls, then it's normally in dconf.
Yeah. Well, the location exactly helped too. So, yeah. Okay, so you said you run Peppermint, Zeb, but you said you tried. So, like, are you a busy guy trying out all these new distros?
I've got 3 SSDs in my machine. One's for Peppermint, one's for Windows 10, and then the third one is one that I've just recently bought. It's like a 940 gigabyte, and I've got 6 partitions that I distro hop with. So yes, I am very active.
Nice. Very nice.
What I found is that's what I use the computer for now, is to distro hop. And it's like, really? What's the point? What am I actually going to use this machine for other than giving myself 2 hours of headache and pulling my hair out? As you can see, there's not a lot left when things don't work. But it's trying to break that cycle. Many a time I've gone, right, that's it. Peppermint, Windows, no more.
Right.
And then a couple of weeks later, I'll see you or Rob, and you've jumped to this, or you've looked at that, or Sudo's done something, and I thought, oh, I'll have some of that.
Are you blaming me?
I've got to stop watching YouTube videos. That's what it is.
It's like a sugar high. You want to try something else, some other piece of candy.
Yep.
Look, just install Linux Mint Mate, add another 7 DEs, and you're good to go, man. You can just log into each. Yeah.
I never asked. Is it possible to install one Linux Mint and then install the other one side by side with it? Like, could you get all of the Linux Mint desktop environments?
Like KDE and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The problem will then be your grub, because I've got that. We've got a new Peppermint that's going to be coming out next year, so we're experimenting. So I've got my main Peppermint and my experimental Peppermint, and whenever I update the grub from my experimental Peppermint, because it's going into the same location as normal Peppermint, I just keep getting the normal Peppermint grub back. So if you've got 7 versions of Mint installed, which grub's going to be in control? Or does it really matter? And you don't update grubs on all of them?
Well, it would be sort of like I'm envisioning it like I have it where this is a Unity install, but I install GNOME and Cinnamon alongside of it. So at the login screen, so you'll have one grub menu. And at the login screen, you can then switch between.
Yeah,
I can switch between Cinnamon or. So I'm wondering if that's would that work in Linux Mint?
There's like a little spoke wheel on this. You can just click that. See, on this one, I have Mint Mate and I have the Ubuntu desktop installed because I just like the way it looks. and then you can choose which DE you want to log into. But the problem is, like, if you install 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DEs, when you go click update, you got a crap load of update depending on what you have installed.
Well, the other thing is some of them don't play well with each other. So
That's yes.
KDE is notorious for not playing well with other ones like Cinnamon, but I don't know. I don't know if that's such a problem anymore.
I don't do more than 2. Like, this is Mint, Mate, and Ubuntu. I've never done more than 2 just to be safe. But even with 2, sometimes there's a problem.
Yeah.
But I
have
usually
a third partition. I'll let you know. That's my next week's project.
Is that your next project?
Weren't you just talking about trying to stop distro?
And here I am on YouTube listening to Rocco.
So Rocco, he is blaming you on this one.
He is. He's blaming me on this one. It's all my fault. See, this is where you see how this works out, Toss? This is where the Textalyzer is bad. Because, see, he's blaming me for his problem. That's the same concept with the Textalyzer.
Let me do a search for the DistroWatch. Must be a DistroWatch somewhere. Search it. No, not available yet. Darn it.
We need a hopper patch.
That's right.
Yeah, hang on. Just put it right there on the pad, you're good to go. Yeah.
We at Distro Hoppers Anonymous have a hotline you can call, Zeb, anytime. Okay, so I'll put the number up later. All right.
What's Rob using now on Linux Quest?
He said, what did he say today? He said that he was using. Oh my gosh, he did tell
all
me.
of them.
It's just getting old thing, man.
He's doing a lot of dolphin videos. Is he on a KDE of some sort?
Yes, and Tergo's KDE is what he put back on. Yep.
I'm surprised he went back. To be brutally honest.
Well,
because he posted something on XFCE and he said he liked it. Now he's back. Okay.
Well, what he said, he was talking to us today, and he said that he tried XFCE. He tried installing in Tergos, and he installed XFCE, GNOME, and KDE versions, and customized them the way he wanted to customize. And basically, what he found was that KDE took the shortest time for him to customize because all the other ones you got to add, GNOME, you got to add extensions, XFCE, you got to change around. Where KDE has a good default theme, good default icons, and basically the only thing he had to switch around was the menu.
Okay. Okay.
So I guess he's sticking with that.
I was going to say, hey, Rocco, besides KAOS having Captain, has any other KDE-based distro used that for setting up?
No, I don't think so. I think that's the only one that I've seen.
I love that distro name, Chaos.
Yep.
Chaos.
I was going to say they have a customization application when you first install it that I think almost every KDE distro should be using.
Yep,
it is awesome. Like you can customize probably 5 clicks and you're done customizing KDE essentially.
Yep. It gives you a walkthrough basically of where do I want my panel, where do I want this, what do I want to use for a theme. It just walks you through it. And the first time I used it, I was like, wow, this is awesome. But I think that's the only time that I saw it on any distro.
Which is too bad. I would use Chaos more if the package selection. I love the singular focus of the distro, but on the same note, the package selection is the biggest thing that I can't.
Well, and to be perfectly honest with you, I love Solus. I think it's one of the best distros out there. But there's just certain software that I need to have, like Zoom I use for the podcast and stuff like that. And not just certain things that I have to have, but I want the ability to install anything. I mean, that's what I do. I try different things. I try different distros. I try different software. So I want the ability to be able to, hey, here's a new program. Let me be able to try it. And if I'm running Solus, I can't do that. So,
but he's going to be bringing out this new alien converter thing or whatever he's calling it, where you can take a deb file, strip it out, and then install it as Epiog or whatever it's called.
That would be absolutely awesome. I seen him in the Telegram group mention that the other day, but I didn't. That was the first time I heard about it. So you saying about it is like, I don't know much about it. I don't know when it's going to come out. But if that comes out, who knows? I might be switching to Solus.
Well, it's like everything with Ike. It's what's his favourite bunny of the week sort of thing. Last week he was going to be bringing out his new desktop 11, and then oh no, we'll drop that out the window for the moment and we'll do some polishing, and then oh no, we'll drop that out the window. And it says whatever he wakes up in the morning, what am I going to program today? So there is no timetable for it. It will come out when it comes out.
Yeah,
Now,
well, I think they had 11 slated for. Well, he said Q2, which were like right at the end of it. So
is what Ike's working on with Alien essentially what has been available by out in the community already called Alien, where it essentially takes it used to take RPMs or debs and convert them into the vice versa.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah, but I had tried that one time, and maybe it was because of my lack of experience. I was going to say, I tried it one time, and it didn't work for me. I mean, maybe that was my lack of experience, but I couldn't get it to work. But anyway, like I said, I would be running Solus if it wasn't for that option not being there to try out new software. And, the KDE version is going to be coming out, and that's always tempting to try, because I can imagine, obviously KDE's good, and then you have Solus putting it together. Man, it may be one awesome desktop.
But isn't that just a community edition? I don't think that's Ike and his guys working on it. That's just someone in the background.
That's what the heck is his name? He's one of the guys on the Solus team. He's going
is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's going to be taking over, all the dependencies and all that stuff, and his name slips my mind at the moment, but yeah, they are going to be doing it.
Because you can get it to work now. You just have to go through their package manager, and every single version of KDE, whether it be the KDE and the KDE-dev, you can get KDE running on Solus. Can't do much with it, but it's the desktop is there.
Well, I would be using, not only would I be using Solus, but I would be using both the regular Solus edition with Budgie on it if it wasn't for that menu, because I'm not a fan of the Budgie menu, especially not a fan of the way it sorts applications out.
Well, I was going to say, even Ike will tell you that we'll tell you exactly how he feels about the Budgie menu anyway.
Well, look, it was a good concept for a menu. So you open the menu and all of your most recent apps are sorted to the top. But the problem is, you go to the menu and you expect an app to be at a certain spot, and it's never in the same spot twice, because you're always opening apps. And like if you want to open Chrome and you're not using a dock, you're going to go for Chrome and it's going to be the number 1 spot. And then the next time you go open the menu, it's going to be number 3. And then it's going to be number 4. And then it's going to be number 2. And it just doesn't, I mean, the concept is good, but it doesn't work in its application.
Can you not install Brisk on Budgie, or is that only for the Mate version?
That's only for the Mate version. Now, he said that he was going to make changes to the Budgie menu to update it so that it would have more of a Brisk type feel to it, as far as how it sorts things and such. But I don't know when that's going to happen, and man, I would love to see. I know he won't, and I know it's for the Mate desktop, but I would love to see Brisk and Budgie. That would be awesome.
And not to change the topic here for a second, is Shane Ike is actually getting done at said big company to focus solely on Solus here soon?
Yep.
Yep, he's quitting because he's currently got about $2,300 a month on Patreon coming in.
Well, he didn't. That a lot of that, and I was so happy for him, because a lot of that from the Patreon came after he made the announcement.
Oh wow! Okay.
I think when he made the announcement, I think he was only at 1,500, and after he made the announcement is when it went way up. Let me see exactly where he's at right now.
Must be nice to follow your dream.
Yep. Let's see here. not seeing it as of right now. Oh, there it is. It's $20.82 a month right now. And when he made the announcement, it was $1,500. So that's a good jump, and I'm happy for him that it actually is working out for him.
And Shane, yes, to answer your question, his Patreon is still alive. What is that, Rocco? The Solus project, I believe, on Patreon.
It is just Solus, I think. Yeah, it's patreon.com/Solus. And
because Shane Boylan is asking in the YouTube chat. So
let me see here. I'll put the link in it. That way anybody wants to help out, they can go help out. There you go, Shane.
I was going to say, not going to lie, I much respect the work that Ike does for Solus, because in the end, a lot of what he's doing actually helps the rest of the ecosystem.
Yeah, well, that's what one of his goals is. One of his goals is to not just help Solus along, but to create apps and background APIs and everything so that it helps the whole ecosystem where every distro can benefit from it. And that's one of the great parts about it.
Didn't he do a lot of work on some Steam stuff as well when he couldn't get his games to run? So he did a whole weekend of trying to get Steam working better.
And we've come full circle back to Steam.
Yeah. Long and short of it is Steam is a 32-bit application. The API, my understanding anyway, the APIs are based around, at the time he made the API fixes was, I think they were still based on Ubuntu 12.04. So the static like Steamworks stuff, libraries that were in Steam were very minimal. So he ended up making it use, I believe, system libraries instead, which were 64-bit. So you could switch over the application. And some games would only run in 32-bit. So then he would give you the option within the way, like the UI, to actually 32-bit, 64-bit.
Well, Jay, you said Solus is a trademark of Snap-on Tools. Actually, they've been talking about that because, he's not sure which direction he's going to go in, because he might have to look at changing it because of that whole trademark reason. So they may have to go back to Solus OS. Who knows?
Call it Snapless.
He couldn't use Solus OS though, because believe it or not, OS is a trademark of Ordnance Survey maps, and that's why he had to come away in the first place.
Yeah, but that was when he was living in the UK. Or living in, where was he living at? He was living in, he was living in London. Wasn't he living in England?
Yeah, but surely a trademark is a trademark is a trademark. You can't.
Well, the people that apparently, okay, according to Ike, he is out of the jurisdiction being in Ireland.
Interesting.
So I don't know 100%. I don't know all the details, but apparently that's what his thought process is, that he's out of that jurisdiction now because of that.
So in other words, his statement is basically 1-800 bite me.
He doesn't care about that anymore, I don't think. So yes, but that was the reason why he left the Solus OS, but I think they're seriously thinking about going back to it.
I was going to say they're going to do something. Granted, let's just say Snap-on Tools is a bunch of, use that last word to describe them, and that's pretty much what you got for Snap-on there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see. It's it's gonna. I don't know when. Like, they don't have a timeline, I don't believe, for when it's gonna. All this changes are gonna come out. Like when the desktop's gonna hit, or when Budgie 11's gonna hit. But I think it's really exciting, man, because you get to see all this stuff happen, and then you get to try it out. And it's like you wait for it, and you wait for it, and then it's finally here, and it puts the excitement back into Toss's life.
This is so much fun. I feel like I need some popcorn. You watch this movie?
I got some coffee. Do you want?
I think I'll have some multigrain crackers. You want to pass me the coffee there, bud?
Yeah, here's some coffee. Will you? Oh my gosh. Yeah, Craig, we talked about Chaos. They are. It would probably. They are not something that I would run just because of the closed down circuit that they have. The not circuit. The closed down repositories that they have. But it's a really nice operating system. I can tell you that. To be honest with you, if I was going to run an Arch KDE, I would probably look at something like New Runner, because New Runner was very, very polished. It was very nice, and that's based on Manjaro, and I can't get Manjaro installed. So, but New Runner has no issue whatsoever.
Didn't New Runner take it over when Netrunner went to Neon and dropped the Manjaro?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
And,
New Runner's a good install.
Yeah, if you're into KDE, and you like Manjaro, New Runner's a really, really good option.
That was the one where you found a few items had been moved around in the control panel, and you didn't quite understand why they'd put them there.
Was that New Runner or was that Chaos?
No, that was New Runner.
Or was it New Runner?
Definitely
Yeah,
New
one
Runner,
of them. One of them moved them around, and some of them were really good, and some of them were weird,
Questionable.
Yeah,
puzzling. Yeah,
yeah. Like they had moved some of the they had moved the GTK theming into the actual appearance part where you would think it would be. I mean, it's the theming part. I don't know why you have to go to two different places to get the theming, but they had moved it in there with that. But then some of the hardware was like the networking part of it was different places that you wouldn't expect. Like I think users were under networking, and it was kind of like weird. But as far as the whole operating system was concerned, I would definitely consider running that. David, you never give up. No, you don't. David's been trying to get me to do a full Arch install, from scratch, like ridiculous from scratch.
That's why you do Linux from scratch and rock on.
And I'm, I don't got the time to do that, and he keeps needling me every time. Hey, you gonna do that KDE Arch install?
Isn't that like 4 or 5 hours work though, just to get it installed?
If you're somebody that hasn't done it before, yes, maybe even.
That's
longer.
just to set up grub.
I was gonna say, in fairness, we did have Michael Tennell on last week, and he did say that at least it's not Linux from scratch, which would take you a week to install.
Yeah, well, yeah, he wasn't into installing things like that either, so I don't know.
No, it is like 30 minutes. Yeah, that's because you've done it a million times, David.
Yeah, David, you know exactly what you're doing. You can probably do every command on the install by heart and remember it back. So
give me a pointy, clicky interface, and that's how I like to install my Linux distros.
Yeah, I'm just old-fashioned. I want a GUI.
Yeah, but not the Debian GUI.
I've never installed Debian either, man.
It's because Debian doesn't know how to make a good GUI.
It's not pretty, but it works, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so does an N curses, but...
Okay, so what is the draw to Debian? Like, why do people...
Well, if it's a stable branch, it's stable. I mean, I've tested the stable branch before, and it's not cutting edge at all, but man, is it stable. At least the way.
It is very stable.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually very quick. You do a base Debian install of XFCE, and it's as quick as Peppermint.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, does that... Yeah, but do you have to do anything extra on the install to get programs running or hardware running or anything, or what?
You have to mess around with adding yourself to sudo and the sudo as file, or you do everything as root when you're installing, which is never a good idea. But no, you can install. You get XFCE up and running, or your desktop of choice. Add yourself to sudo as next. Away you go. The only thing you're going to find is they're probably on Firefox 42 in the repo or something.
Okay,
and that is where the problem becomes for most users.
Isn't that a security risk to be on Firefox?
No, that was an exaggeration. I think they're on
I know,
ESR
but
52 or something. But yeah,
I was just saying, usually they use like long-term support type stuff if they have it. So like the long, crusty version of LibreOffice that is like uber old will be the one they're running.
But it's stable.
But it is stable, and it probably don't crash. But at the end of the day, it's boring. It's old. It depends on how new you like your apps, really. Or you can switch over to Debian testing if you want something a little bit newer, which most people would say gives you a combination of the stability because it's already gone through unstable.
Yeah, but just from you describing it, I don't think it's for me.
Yeah, but even if you're on Debian testing, it's like stepping on a match. You know it's there under your foot, but you're not going to trip up over it. So even unless you're going to go on to SID, you're never going to fall over with Debian.
Yeah, until you go over to the unstable branch where it's like, oh, hey, this is all untested. Have fun.
Yeah, and that's that. You then might as well be an Arch user to do that.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, this is what I don't have time for. I just don't have time for all of this extra stuff, man. I got a distro hop.
So you have time to distro hop, which is the second most painful thing to do. But hey, if you're gonna go that far,
well, I guess there's something to be said for learning it, and like David, like I said, has been trying to get me to do an install of Arch, and I'm sure that it would benefit me, for learning purposes. But like it's like going to the dentist. It's needed, but I don't want to do it. I mean, I just go because I have to.
Well, I don't know if Arch is ever needed.
But as a Linux user, do you need to know what goes in bin, what goes in etc., what goes in media? As long as you can switch it on, click on the menu and run the product, and it installs easily, why do you need to know the back end stuff?
Because I'll be blunt, because you're going to piss off the graybeards by not knowing what exactly goes where. God forbid you want to install a computer system, have it get out of your way and get work done.
Well, when I go jogging, I usually like backends, but that's a different story altogether. So.
Really does.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
Debian can be painful.
Every distro can be painful.
Yeah, it can. And you said tell us about the hardware marrying up with the software, and it's the same thing I have with Manjaro. Everybody runs Manjaro. Everybody gets to install it. There's Matt running as his daily driver, and yet I can't. It does not like my hardware for some reason. And I actually tried to install Arch Labs the other day, and it looks like the same installer. And it did the same exact thing to me as Manjaro. It just kept on crashing immediately. And
it's
I was
a
like,
miss.
No, yeah. I was going to say, what's Arch Labs based like the desktop? I haven't really OpenBox. That's weird. I figured it might have been something like an issue with KDE or something for you.
Nope. Because it happened with the XFCE version, it happened with the KDE version, and I even did Thus. And I finally got XFCE installed after trying it a few times, and I don't remember if it was Thus or one of the other ones that actually installed. But this one, it was the Calamares installer, I believe, and it did the same exact thing. You would open it, and it would pop up, and it would start to show you the install process, and then it would just disappear. It would just crash.
I love calamari sauteed with wine sauce. Oh, it's
great. Rocco, did you have an external USB drive attached?
Did I have a external USB?
When you're installing it? Because it fails for me unless I take out all of my external USBs.
No, you mentioned that. I don't know if I did or not. I think the only one, like I have a USB hub with 8 ports on it. Mm-hmm. So I have my 5 USB sticks just sitting there in the hub, and the
That's why Calamaris is failing.
Well-
I was gonna say.
well, I have the switches off on them all until I need them.
Ah, right.
So-
Okay, then it should be okay because I just turned the power off on my hub.
I was gonna say, not unless when you're booting into it, that it's counting the entire hub as active, even if it's off, which could be a thing.
Yeah, I guess it could be.
Have you got your keyboard and mouse in there? So that wouldn't work if you turned it off.
No, I don't. I got my keyboard and mouse in the regular USB plugs.
It's
So
just
maybe I'll have to try that.
Because I know sometimes the installers will load like some random stupid stuff that it's like, that's not even on my hardware. Why are you loading? Oh, and you crashed everything. Awesome.
Well, see, that's what I wanted to get. You know, we talked about last week. Michael Tennell brought it up about them hot swap drive bays, and that's what I would really like to get with the power switches on them. And then I wouldn't have to worry about that. I could just turn every hard drive I have in there off until I need it, and then it would, then it would not pick up anything else. Because, like I said before, when I run the Ubuntu installer, it will sit there and spin and spin and spin for probably a good 10 minutes straight, just sitting there spinning. I have to walk away, go get a cup of coffee, come back. Now, if I shut off my computer, unplug all my drives except the one that I'm using, it will go through like that with no problem at all. But for some reason, it doesn't like one of the drives that's in there. And if I had those power bays, I could shut them all off. And
Just a flip of the switch.
just flip of the switch.
Then you can really distro hop. You can have like 30 of them.
Of course, Rocco, we might get you a spare machine, so you'll be distro hopping a whole lot more potentially, buddy.
You could have multiple machines, multiple hard drives. When you go to DistroWatch, you see Rocco's face at the top of the list there. That's what you'll see. Rocco and Rob from Linux Quest, and then DistroWatch's list.
That's right. They should have users on there. They should.
Yeah.
I agree.
I was going to say, Rocco, you're welcome for any potential hardware that gets shipped your way, but
You're encouraging it. You're encouraging it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, like I said, I think I got 4 internal drives in there. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 5 internal drives in there. So, but 2 of them are for Windows and games and whatnot. So, one of them's for Windows 10, and one of them's for one's a 2 terabyte drive for the billions of gigabytes that the games take up, because they're ridiculous in how much space they actually take up nowadays.
40, 50, 60 gigs of whack.
I'm telling you. So that has to be a 2 terabyte drive, and it's almost full, man. Can you? That's ridiculous.
I was gonna say my main box, I have 4 terabytes total, and I have 150 games installed on one, and that 2 terabyte drive is almost taken up.
Yep, it's ridiculous. It should not be that way, but
So you guys are into storage and capacity.
Yep.
You're into speed.
I'm into speed. If I had the budget, I would buy the fastest computer I could get in my budget. Because like I said, I want to edit like a 10-minute video. I want it to be like, click, render, done. Just zip it, done. That's I want done. Like now I'm waiting. I just want it to be click, done. That'd be so cool. Without having to wait and check it. It made a mistake. Do it again. Just click, done, render.
Well, I would love to get one of them NVMe drives. The M1 drives, man. What is it? M1 or M.2? One or the other. But they are supposed to be like extremely fast, and that would be awesome. But I guess you got to get the right one. You can go with the cheap ones, and they're not much faster than a regular SSD. But if you get the right one, man, they can like triple the speed of an SSD.
Well, my Peppermint runs on an NVMe drive. I think it's like 1,500 write and 3,000 read. Yep. But if I install Peppermint on an ordinary 850 Samsung SSD, it doesn't load up any quicker. It's still
You're kidding.
It's still 5 or 6 seconds to load up on the NVMe drive, or 5 or 6 seconds to load up on the SSD. So unless I'm doing something wrong, or it's been installed wrong by the manufacturer, I don't know.
I'm sorry, but I got to turn the AC on. So if you hear some humming or buzzing, you know what it is.
That's what that tower is behind me. That's just a fan continually blowing.
No, that's your gnome desktop saying, "Help me,
Yeah.
help me."
I can't believe that the NVMe solid state is not faster than the regular 850.
As I say, it was installed by PCSpecialist.co.uk, where I got my machine from last year. And yeah, it's 5 or 6 seconds to load up the OS.
Yeah, but David, I thought they could be hooked up through PCI Express slots. That you could get the same speed. David said that you would need a new motherboard to get the NVMe drive. And yeah, my current motherboard doesn't support NVMe, so I would have to either get a new motherboard or do a PCI Express add-on card. But I don't know. What I don't know is I don't know if the PCI Express slot adapter cards are as fast as a regular M.2 slot on a native motherboard. And maybe that's the problem, Zeb. Maybe that the PCI Express, or is yours on your motherboard, or is it a PCI Express slot?
No, it's on the motherboard. I've got the Asus Z170 Pro Gaming motherboard.
Nice.
So it's a proper slot built on.
Well, that's kind of disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought they would like really increase the speed. But
Well, I hear about people saying that their OS starts in 2, maybe 3 seconds. Really? I'd like to see that. I've never seen any of my OSs start quicker than 6, maybe 7 seconds.
Is that before or after the? Yeah.
yeah, but I think Martin Wimpers had mentioned that too. That his starts up in. But I think it also has to do with everything else that he has. I mean, it's like a supercomputer that he has. You know, it's not just the NVMe drives.
Yeah.
Well, this thing here is an i7 6700, so it should be fast enough.
Well, yeah, it's definitely fast enough. Yes. But,
yeah. But I've never seen an OS install in 2 or 3 seconds from Grub. Because mine takes about 30 seconds to get to Grub. It's doing so much crap in the background. It's ridiculous.
Well, I add, because I got all these stupid peripherals plugged in, I add like 5-10 seconds to my boot time so that my BIOS can go through all of the peripherals and the add-on cards. Because I got some of my drives are hooked into I got 4 USB ports on the motherboard, but then there's an extra 2 for it's an added adapter or whatever, and because that's enabled, it takes an extra couple seconds for that to catch the hard drives on it. So it's like all this extra stuff adds more to the boot time.
Yeah, well, if I was to reboot mine now, it would take at least a minute to get back to the desktop. By the time it shut down and then loaded everything up and connected me 10 USB drives, etc., it's just madness.
Well, I think also the amount of hard drives you have in, that causes more boot time as well. So
yeah, like you, I think I've got 6 internal, 3 are SSD and 3 are mechanicals.
Toss, you got any extra drives?
No, I don't have anything like that now. I have backup external drives to back up all my stuff between Linux and Windows. But I keep it simple. But then I have like a backup desktop. I have a Lenovo that's 6 years old. That's still running. They're super reliable. Then I have test ThinkPads and stuff like that. But I don't do as much testing as I used to. But I just have backup hard drives and that's it. Yeah.
We've got Shane in chat saying the NVMe drives uses your CPU power. I've not noticed it.
That I don't know. I'm not that familiar with them to make a call on that.
Well, my CPU at the moment is sitting there ticking over at just 16%.
You guys don't mind if I check DistroWatch a while?
No, see if your picture is on there, Rocco. Go ahead, yeah.
Does that say something about me that I'm doing a live check?
Go ahead, see if your photo's on there. Go on.
Wait, where is it? Yep, it's not there. Not yet. Someday, maybe. True OS. True OS. Why does that sound familiar?
True.
Oh, that's BSD, ain't?
Who uses BSD?
Yeah, no, I don't want to try that. No way. You crazy?
BSD.
Oh,
Have you
Besides
tried BSD?
Max.
Have you tried BSD, Matt?
Does the Darwin kernel on Mac OS count? That's about as close as I get to running a BSD anything.
Well, I don't know much about BSD. I know that I don't know much about it. So if anybody's got some insight on what the point is of it, like...
Well, BSD is like Solus, yeah? You get it installed, it works well, but then can't find any applications to run.
So why did people run it?
Why do they run Gentoo?
Yeah, this is true.
Agony and torment.
I don't know why we asked that question, why, but...
Agony and torment, yeah, they're into that, yeah.
I think when you run Gentoo, you have to stand there with one of them whips in your hand, slapping your back at the same time.
Self-flogging.
I'm telling you.
Flog OS, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Frank, I already made that point. Yeah, I do run a Mac, so yeah, that's about the only version of Mac OS. I mean BSD that I've run. Oh no, sorry. If you owned a PS3, you've run BSD.
Oh really?
Yeah, the OS is based off BSD. I can't remember.
Interesting.
I can't remember if it's FreeBSD or one of those.
What'd you say? What was it?
It's either the PS3 or the PS4 runs on BSD.
Wow. I did not know that.
Such a small world.
But no, there's nothing. My picture's not on DistroWatch. I'm disappointed.
It's been hacked.
Doesn't it have to be voted up like some of the OSs? So that all the fans jump on there. So we need to write to the owner of...
I think some dude from
DistroWatch.
Debian took it down, man. He says, "You making fun of Debian? Take that picture off."
Well, then Debian must be taking a lot of pictures off because I know it gets made fun of quite often.
The only problem is if somebody here can speak to DistroWatch, I'd just love to see Rocco's face when he woke up one morning to check his next distro hop, and there was his picture in the top left-hand corner. That would be so cool. One of us has got to get it done.
Well, I don't think that's ever going to happen, brother.
Nope.
But it was funny. The one day I was at work, and I work at a retail store, and we have one of them Redbox type rental machines, but it's a local company. So it was like some customer came in and said, "Oh, it's not working right." So I had to go out and look at it, and it was a black screen with a little tux icon on it. It was awesome.
Hey, I'll give him credit. The last time I saw one of those things go down, it was running Windows XP embedded.
Yeah. Well, I was at a store yesterday, and it was a local store, and there was a tech guy there working on one of the registers. And no lie, I mean, you know, it's been years since I've seen it, but it looked like it was running Windows 98, dude. And I'm standing there staring at. I'm trying not to stare because he's like looking around and everything, working on the register. But I'm like, man, that looks like Windows 98.
Was it at a Kroger's?
No, it was at a local, like a mom and pop type, local store, food store. And I was like, wow, they can't be running 98, can they?
It depends on what version of the Linux GUI maybe that they have installed. Because I know one of the companies I used to work for, man, this is like 2008. I think I remember like the registers rebooted at a certain time. I worked the overnight shift. So like when you see all like 30 registers all reboot, and you see the boot up for init-D loading up. And you're like, it's like kernel 2.4 or something like that. And you're like, that's some old stuff.
Yeah, that's some old stuff there. But, I mean, I get, is it bad that I was concerned in a grocery store or even a small one that what they were running on their computer? But that was all I could go through my head.
Well, it can be, considering that's attached to what has to get decrypted from any debit card.
Yeah, right? Like I'm sliding my debit card in there.
As long as the food isn't outdated, I guess you're okay, you know. But well, the groceries aren't outdated.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And yes, most ATMs still do run OS 2.
How can that be when we're like so into security, and how can they be running this stuff?
Security through obscurity is their mentality, even though it's broken as crap, and they know it. They just don't care.
Plus, how many ATMs in the world? How much is it going to cost them to replace them all? All comes back down to finance and profit.
I know, but you would think that any kind of breach would cost them more. Like, I mean, if you're a bank and you have some security breach because of an ATM that you use that you don't update, or you're using some ancient operating system, don't you think the breach is gonna, and the fallout from that is gonna cost you just as much or more than updating it?
It will.
Yeah, but are you ever going to find out about those breaches, or are they going to sweep them under the carpet?
Right. Some of them are having worked retail and had the prior company I used to work for have 2 million credit card numbers stolen. It's a little hard to sweep certain things under the rug.
But you don't hear it on the news, though, do you?
I heard about that one over here on the news, anyway.
Well, I don't know. I just think that if you're using, I mean, this is not some fly-by-night computer. This is a Mac machine. This is a register where you're sliding debit cards, credit cards, and everything else. I just think that it's crazy to run something that is that out of date. I mean, I know that our registers at the store that I work at, they updated last year, I think, from XP to 7. But even that was, why'd you wait so long? But going back further than that, I mean, why wouldn't you update? I don't understand that.
But what was their answer as to why they waited so long?
I didn't never ask them why, because I didn't really get to see the IT guys when they were there, because they were there during the day.
Plus, you like working there, I guess.
It's just, I don't know. I don't know what their thought process. Maybe it was the money. Maybe it was the manpower, the hours, to get everything updated, and the headaches of making everything work.
I was going to say, I know it depends on like the IT upgrade cycle on some companies too. Some do 3 years, some do 5 years, some do longer, which is stupid. But
well, that's why the NHS in the UK, a lot of their systems are still running XP, because I forget the number of employees they've got, or the number of equipment, or the amount of equipment they've got. But I worked about 10 years ago now, just for a local Kent section of the NHS, and to upgrade all of their computers was nearly £750,000, and that's just one small part of the UK. So to upgrade the whole of the UK, the whole of the NHS, getting rid of all of those bespoke bits of software, or having them rewritten so that they run correctly, it would take too long. It would take them 5 years to do it, by which time Windows 7 is now out of support again. So they've got to do the same thing again to Windows 10. That's why they hang on and hang on and hang on. And you can bet your bottom's dollar they've got a support package with Microsoft who still keep them running on XP. They pay for that big time.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can understand not wanting to upgrade to the latest system. I can understand staying on something that's, long-term support and everything. I get that. I just think there comes a certain point where it's way better to upgrade, and it's never The IT departments of the companies or the people that are running the companies never know when that time is, and it's always like way past their time before they actually do the update.
And for me, that's why outsourcing never works, because you haven't got a vested interest in the company. And you need to know what the company does, how it works, what the impact would be. I mean, if they tried to upgrade the NHS, there'd be uproar, like there was with that WannaCry virus. People going in to get their blood test results, and sorry, I can't do because, you know, we're down. It would be even worse during an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's why I said I get the fact that they're, you know, it's compatibility issues and they don't want to take the chance. I mean, so, well, for example, the store that I work at, we're open 24 hours. So, I mean, I get the fact that there's really never a good time to make a switch like that. And you don't want, obviously, you don't want the registers to go down or something to not work for any amount of time. But I just think that at some point you got to bite the bullet and do it, and they always seem to do it too late. But again, it all comes back to the money. So
it does, and unfortunately, that's always what companies are more worried about than, you know, things like good security.
Yeah, who cares about security? Well,
until they get a security breach, and then they want the IT guys to fix it tomorrow.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, put a Band-Aid on the gash that's across the entire back. It'll fix it. You know, what people expect out of IT, I feel bad for a lot of the guys in the field. I really do. You know, having seen some of the back ends at even like certain retailers or something, you just look at it, it's like, how the heck did you guys hamstring that crap together to make it work? You know, it's like I've seen companies with like Windows XP thin clients running on a back end of like Red Hat mixed with like old school Novell NetWare stuff, and it's just like, how are you making this system operate so it actually is coherent?
Well, they were there updating all the updating, like, I guess the newer registers that we had, and they said, oh well, we're just going to image these over, you know, from a ISO that they have and everything, and it'll take us, you know, a little bit to. It's the easiest way to do it, and then it was like 8 hours later, and they were still there doing this. It was hilarious. Yeah,
we'll pull down this ISO for our network install, which is great because it should in theory have all the configurations and all that stuff based on every system having the exact same specs across the board. Oh wait, this one, it doesn't quite have the same specs. Oh.
Well, I do feel bad for them. Go ahead.
Don't you find as well that IT departments always overestimate their abilities? I work for a company at the moment, and I'm doing some software testing for them. And I was meant to be doing some on Sunday. But the IT guy who said he would have the system converted to the latest server has come back and, oh, we've uncovered this problem, and we've uncovered that problem, and we hadn't tried this, and we hadn't tried that. And it's like, don't you guys ever do any testing before you tell the business you're going to convert something? And they never do. Oh, we'll have this backed up in 3 hours. 5.5 hours later, you're still waiting for the call to say the backup has finished. What's going on with that? Tell us it's going to take half a day.
In fairness, yes, sometimes the IT guys do underestimate stuff because they're not projecting for problems. In fairness, also on the flip side, if you're selling contracts, most of the, shall we say, sellers of those contracts, the salespeople, don't work IT, so they don't realize, oh, crap takes longer.
Yeah.
But it's every single time, so you think you'd learn.
Yeah, but it's also about, again, it comes down to the money. So when they do the projects and they do the upgrade plans and everything, they say it's going to take X amount of time. And like Matt said, that's without any issues and without any problems. And that sounds good to a company. You know, okay, good. It'll only take this amount of time and this amount of money. But you're right. It never does. It always takes longer. Always. because there's always problems. I mean, you just break it down to, you know, oh, I'm going to take 5 minutes and install this distro. An hour later, you're still installing the distro, or you're still doing something because something went wrong. It's just the way it is. In computers, that's the way it is.
Technology in general. Doesn't matter if it's just computing. It could be fixing a car, same deal.
Yep.
Toss,
Okay,
you look like you're ready to freaking pass out, bud.
I'm just chilling, watching TV and just chilling, listen to you guys. I forgot the popcorn, you know.
but you had the multi-grain crackers.
Yeah, there you go. I guess that's healthier. If you guys want some, they're right here. You go. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm actually impressed that when you were chewing them, we couldn't hear it. That's a good mic you got there.
I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in stealth mode. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Incognito.
Incognito, right?
So Rocco, what are you thinking? What are you thinking of your next distro to actually review? Not hop to, but review.
Well, I actually don't know, but one of the guys that I talked to on Hangouts, Glenn, he suggested I look at /Linux. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I got a post on my YouTube about that. I ended up putting out a new release not that long ago.
Is that Arch-based?
No, it's Debian or Ubuntu. I can't remember exactly. But it uses Pantheon as the desktop environment.
Really?
It's an. Rob did a few videos on it a while ago. I think the new one's called Olaf.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's called. Well, the one guy had posted on the YouTube about it as well, but this guy that and I can't remember what he said about it. He messaged me and said I should check it out, and I said something about KDE, and I don't know if it was. Let me see here if I can find it.
It's an Indian one by the looks of it, because it's /linux.in.
I guess he's under the impression that it is a KDE with some changes to it. So it's not KDE, it's Pantheon?
From what the last time I watched one of Rob's videos, it was Pantheon, because it had that very elementary vibe, you know, panel on the top and all that jazz.
Yeah. Well, let me see here. /Linux is it's the most awesome desktop ever, and you're gonna love it. That's what the website says.
It's actually Ubuntu Xenial Xerxes running over a Plasma 5.9 shell.
Xerxes. Wasn't that in the movie 300? Some guy named Xerxes. You know, Sparta.
It says with the /desktop shell, it's easy to do just about anything with your computer, integrated deeply into the K desktop environment.
Huh. They must have changed it.
It says not looking good that their website uses Flash. That's all I'm saying.
That kills it.
That's it. I'm not trying to distro. Their website uses Flash, dude. What the heck? No, I think I might download that and check it out and see what that's all about.
It looks like it's improved a lot since the last time I looked at it.
Yeah, it does look. It looks like a Plasma. It looks like a Plasma desktop that I would run, with the panel at the top and the dock at the bottom. Mm-hmm.
Wait, by /? Oh, support. Okay.
1.7 gig download, so it's fairly lightweight if it is a KDE.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, doesn't look like a bad one to check out.
Download now.
Would it be bad to download while I'm streaming?
You could also have a look at Rosa LXQT.
I thought about that, and I had run Rosa before, but it was the KDE version, and that's a Russian-based distro.
Mm-hmm.
Da, comrade. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, but anyway,
You guys and your security concerns, it just doesn't bother me at all. I mean, if someone's hacked my machine, so they're going to see my grandchildren's Peppa Pig videos. Whoopity woo.
It's all secure. Just look at Washington.
right.
Right.
No, it's just, you know, it's not that it's not secure. It's just that gives you that feeling in the back of your head, you know, like, just that question. That's all.
Is that
But
why
actually,
people stopped using ICQ because the Russians took over?
well, actually, Rosa is a really stable desktop. The last time I ran it, it was a nicely done. They did a lot of modifications to it. They have a KDE 4 desktop. They have a Plasma 5 desktop. So the LXQT says that it can run on 512 megabytes of RAM. I'm tempted to take out all of my RAM except one stick and see if it can actually run.
I was gonna say, Rocco, just fire up VirtualBox and give it only 512 in one CPU.
See what happens.
See how it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll run all right. It might take you 4.5 hours to get it moving, but you know, it's probably going to start and boot. And
I was gonna say, I find the base distro requirements to be a joke nowadays. It's like,
well, I think it was Linux and other stuff. Dave, he did a video on it, and when he was testing it, it was running at, I think, 300 or close to 400 megabytes, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, that doesn't leave a whole lot left. I mean, because, you know, if you're running it and it says it can run comfortably on 512, you would think it would run super light, but I guess that's about as light as it's going to get.
you can never have enough RAM, that's for sure.
It then doesn't tell you about the 20 gig swap file it installs.
Well, this is true.
Is that all? It's all okay.
I was gonna say 64 gigs or bust.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a question. Do you guys use a swap file?
I've got a 4 gigabyte one purely because I read somewhere that even if you've got 32 gig and you do run out of memory, it just stops your system falling over. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Nope.
it's
No,
not true.
I don't.
No? Okay.
I don't have. I haven't used a swap file in, geez, probably 6 months now, and I just stopped putting it in there, and I haven't noticed it. I mean, it went. Well, first of all, the reason I was even looking at taking it out was because, you know, with the SSD, you don't want it constantly writing. Hey,
Mr.
there's
Tanel.
Michael.
Hi, Michael.
What's going on, dude?
I was gonna say, be
Hey, he's been on
careful.
the Red Bull.
I was gonna say, be careful with those horns. Gene Simmons is trying to patent those.
Yeah.
He should patent his tongue, you know. Isn't he the one with
I think
Yeah.
it is.
the serpentine? Okay.
But anyway, I haven't installed a swap file in a long time, so, and I haven't had one issue, you know, pertaining to that. So I don't know. I don't think you really need it, Zeb, but depending on how much memory you have.
I've got 32 gig.
No, but you don't need it. You definitely don't need it, because I got 16 and I don't need it. So
Same here.
It's not about whether you need it.
I was going to say, here's the man who tell us,
I was
is
gonna
it
say,
Is
necessary?
it necessary in certain
as a-
cases? Yes.
Yeah, as a fallback just in case.
No. If you have a laptop, you cannot hibernate without swap. So if you want to hibernate, you have to have swap of some kind. It can be a file or it can be a swap partition. Just something designated as swap. And there's other situations that are similar that are hardware reliant in order to take the memory from the RAM to put it into the drive, so that you can do things like the sleep doesn't require it because it stays in RAM, but the hibernation is a necessity. If you want to do a ton of computational stuff, not like mining, like Bitcoin or something, you would need a lot of that, because it's going to take up all of your RAM and it's going to kind of defer some of it to the swap while it's using it for other things.
Bitcoin needs it. That freaking Bitcoin, let me tell you, it takes.
Well, it needs it if you're going to mine it, and mining Bitcoin is
Do
ridiculous.
people still mine? Do they actually make money out of mining?
I just read an article about that the other day, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, they're talking about it, and this guy's explaining all that you do, and in a week's time of running his computer for 24/7 at full tilt, he made like 8 cents or something ridiculous like that. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, like, why would anybody do this?
Because if this was
not
5 or
worth
6,
it now.
I was going to say if this was 5 or 6 years ago, that would be a different story. But now it's not worth it.
Yeah, not at all. But the mining
If this was 5 or 6 years ago,
Inforium, maybe
What is that?
it's like a Bitcoin competitor.
Oh.
It's actually got a lot of press lately. It actually went from like $8 to now $300.
Wow.
That's a lot of bits.
Yeah, it's like the first one that's not like Litecoin is kind of nothing, and Dogecoin actually has value, but like not much.
Well, I think that's what ransomware makers, guys, they prefer to be paid in Bitcoin because they can't be traced. I don't know if that's true, but
If done properly, you cannot trace a Bitcoin transaction.
I'll have to read up on that. It's a nice business. No, I'm just kidding.
There's actually there's a legitimate way to use Bitcoin anonymously without being like a horrible person. You can purchase gift cards through Bitcoin, and those gift cards are like for Amazon and Target and stuff like that. So you could still use money in a legitimate way without using any kind of malware solution or whatever.
Okay.
And they actually take it with like small limits. Like you can do like 0.002 Bitcoin will get you a gift card of some kind.
Well, just like there's legit reasons for everything, like torrent files and everything else, but people use it for the wrong reasons. So.
But just quickly going back to the swap file thing. So if all I'm doing is distro hopping, I don't need a swap file.
You'll need a doctor, but not a swap file.
You don't necessarily need a swap file if you're not using a laptop. In my opinion, a swap partition is pointless in the sense of like you're wasting your hardware space because you have to allot a certain amount of space for a swap partition. But a swap file, you don't have to. The swap file can be manipulated at any time, and you can change it anytime you want to. So what I would say is that use a swap file because you can make that swap file like 10 megabytes at some point and then jack it up if you need it. Whereas a swap partition, you're kind of screwed with that.
Well, on that note, I'm going to swap out of here. So, guys, have a good night. I'll catch you next time, okay?
See you, Toast.
Yep.
all right.
Good night.
Ciao. Bye-bye.
Fantastic dad joke. Did you know that all jokes can be dad jokes as long as they're apparent?
Where's the mute?
But
That's right.
I was going to say, I don't think the mute button's needed with Ski not being here this week.
yeah. Where is Ski anyway? His squirrel died. That's what happened. So what's going on, Michael?
I just got done playing Rocket League.
Rocket League is on sale for $11.99.
That's right. Get the Rocket League, everybody, right now.
Still not going to buy it. I just don't see it.
Oh, he takes offense.
I just don't look. We were talking about it earlier. The Steam summer sale is on, and I just
Talk to the hand.
It's on there. It's one of the 57 games on my wish list that's on sale, and but I still probably not going to buy it.
Why not?
I don't know. To be honest with you, it just doesn't seem like I'm going to like it.
It's okay. It's a game that looks stupid, is stupid, and is awesome.
All at the same time.
Yes, it's dumb, but because when the idea of rocket-powered cars playing soccer is a dumb idea, and it just sounds dumb, but it's amazingly made, and it like the quality of it's an independent company making it, and they made a fantastic game. It feels like it's like the first video game to ever feel like soccer. So because you have to learn skills, you have to hit the certain angles, you have to learn the different mechanics and stuff. It is a fantastic game, and it's like the first esport that legitimately could be a sport, in the sense of like it requires a lot of skill and practice to build any kind of talent in this game. Like the very first time you play this game, you will be terrible. Everyone. It's a requirement. Like you play, and you'll still have fun with it. It will still be fun. Because there was like one time where I was playing with the people who were like I'd already like played for a couple months, and I was playing with somebody who just started like he's only been playing for like a week, and I just started playing, and I was like, and I was just being nice. I wasn't like trying to demolish him because that'd be too easy, but it was there's a situation we were playing and the ball just flew up in the air, and my first response is to jump up an aerial for it and hit it off the ceiling. And I do it, and he's like, "You can fly in this game?" Like, yep, totally. And like, no matter what level you are, there is always more and more things to improve on, and it's just it's ridiculous how fun it becomes, even though it sounds stupid. And I owned the game for a very long time before I ever played it. It's a good game.
Is it one of those games like, well, for example, Battlefield 1, where it's a great game if you're playing with people that you know, and it's a terrible game if you're not?
No.
Okay.
You can play. You have to play with people, so you have to play online.
Right, but I mean,
not
like
playing online is boring. But yeah, it's it doesn't require you to know the people. No.
Okay.
It's more fun if you do, because you can actually like do plays and things, but it's still fun anyway.
Well,
and there's like arbitrary goals and stuff. Like, you know, every season has a rank system, so you build your rank up, and then like at the end of every season you get rewards based on your rank. So that's kind of cool, and it's just a fun game. I mean, it's probably not the best game ever, but I've been addicted to it for like 6 months. So pretty good.
Well, what do you got on your Steam wish list?
Oh, it came out today. Micro Machine World Series.
Oh, that's
Micro
right. That did.
Machine World Series.
Yeah.
Came out today for Linux, didn't it?
Yep, came out today. And actually was released just 3 days ago for Windows. So like a 3-day window for getting a Linux game is awesome.
I'll definitely take that.
Yeah, and I played this game when I was like 10 on the Genesis, and it was this. And if you in retrospective, it was a terrible game, but in the like the nostalgia of it, it was awesome. But now when I looked at the trailer for it, it's like they made it better, because it was just like toy car racing. Now it's toy car racing combined with like weapons and stuff. So it's
I
like
see it. I'm watching it now.
Yeah, Twisted Metal meets toy racing.
But haven't they also just done a Micro Machines add-on for Forza Racing as well? So you can now drive around all these ridiculous triple loops and banking circuits and leap from building to building and then bounce back onto the road and carry on driving. Again, it's based on the Micro Machines, but you're in proper. Well, I would say proper, but you're in Lamborghini Gallardos and Ferraris rather than Dinky Toy 1 and Dinky Toy 2.
And what is this game?
Forza. It's a driving game on the Xbox.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's on Windows 10 for those.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah, because if you can play Xbox games, you can play them on Windows as well. Or they're trying to go that way.
Well, there was a game on my wish list that I haven't heard of in a while now. Coffin Dodgers, I think it is, that I put on there. And it's some type of racing game that is like, kind of like a Mario Kart type thing. But, yeah, it's still there. It's still on my wish list, yeah. It's now $10.99.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap.
I recently bought a game that I expect to be complete garbage.
Yeah?
Trine 3.
That game, oh, man.
Which game?
Trine 1 and Trine 2 were amazing. And I saw the reviews for Trine 3, and it's like atrocious.
A lot of that is because some of the people just didn't care for the transition to 3D.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't. I probably won't like it. I expect it to be bad because I like the concept of the the Trine 1 and Trine 2 platformer was fantastic. I want to play a
were.
platformer because of the sake of platformer. I don't need to go back and forth in Z space for no reason.
I definitely I enjoy the first Trine 1 and 2 just because of the way it's almost like a living painting when you look at it. Just
It's beautiful.
and
The magicians like spells of casting the ladders and stuff. It's fun. And then I realized, oh, you can upgrade and get more at a time. I'm silly. And then it made it super easy. Like I'm gonna go back to using like 2 at a time.
Yep.
Wait, Trine is on sale for $2.24. That's like my style.
Yeah, Trine and Trine 2 are both worth getting it. Trine 3 maybe not, but 1 and 2 are awesome. And 2 is better than 1. And usually the sequels aren't that much better. This one's like double better, and the story's fun too, and it's freaking beautiful.
It is, and it runs pretty much on any hardware like the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's simple.
Well, I'm adding more now. I got more now. I got 61 games on my wish list.
I'll trade Rocco. I'll trade you. I think I have 75. Hold on, how many? I have 78 games on my wish list. Go with my 483 games on Steam.
I've got 10 games installed and no wish list. I'm not a gamer.
Why are you not a gamer, man?
Don't know. I think the only game I've ever really got into was Gran Turismo on the PS. So PS 1, 2, 3, and 4. But Gran Turismo on the PS4 is not. I just like driving games. I get the motion of, like, as I think I said before, of moving up and down as you're walking. It just makes me feel sick.
Hey, Rocco, what was that piece of hardware that you bought earlier today, there, buddy?
Well, I was at one of the local Reuse It stores, and I walked in, to the electronics part, and usually it's all junk. I just walk by and say, they got all kinds of junk there. But I saw a Logitech NASCAR series racing wheel with pedals, and it was like, it wasn't like some old piece of crap. This is like one of the newer ones. I'm like, wow, what's that doing here? So it was $13, and I figured, well, what the heck? I'm gonna try it. And I brought it home, and I played American Truck Simulator on Linux with it, and the brake was stuck on. So I'm like, oh, it's just no good. So every time I take my foot off the gas of the truck, it would just completely stop, instead of coasting. Like, this is no good. So I booted into Windows and put the software on, and lo and behold, it works perfect in Windows. So I got a perfectly good steering wheel with pedals to play American Truck Simulator, and I played for like 2 hours today of just driving around, and it was awesome.
I've actually seen people talk about how Euro Truck Simulator is so awesome, and it's like, what? I think it's you got to play it kind of. It's the same thing as Rocket League, except with no ball and jet power.
Right. No, but I think that I didn't think that I was going to like it because I thought it was some boring, game, and it is not exciting, but it's challenging, and there's more to it than just driving a truck around. And well, it helps that I used to drive a tractor trailer years ago, so it kind of I have that feel for it. So, but I actually like playing it. I didn't think I would, but I really do like playing it.
So get the double trailer expansion pack.
The double trailer expansion pack, huh?
Yeah, so that when you're now reversing, you've got two bits to worry about.
Yep. Well, I never drove doubles before. Just wasn't my thing. And I never drove over the road. It was usually I was about an hour or two from home making deliveries. We were about probably 2 hours from the shore, and the Jersey Shore, Cape May, in that area. And I would deliver all of the, the big, huge stuffed animals. I would be taking back. There's 2 in a bag, and the bags are humongous. And I would deliver them onto the boardwalk to them and stuff. It was a pretty cool job.
Oh, we should do a weekly. I just completely sidetracked, by the way.
Yeah.
You ever played Broforce?
No.
Okay, it's on Steam sale right now. It's like
Yeah.
$3 or something. It's an awesome arcade shooter. Like, if you ever played Metal Slug a long time ago,
Oh man.
it's like Metal Slug plus like action movie characters like
Broforce.
Ram Bro and BA Bro Rockus.
Yeah. I saw this when it first came out back at PAX East. Oh my god, this game is. I remember.
Oh my gosh, is that looking like a Donkey Kong era game?
Yeah, exactly. And it's on Linux, and I saw some people play some demos of it. And it's like it looks fantastic. It looks like a silly, stupid, hilarious platformer. And like
And what's
once
it called?
Broforce. And like you don't even get to pick a person.
It just picks it for you?
It just randomly chooses. Like you unlock different characters, and it gives you new, silly, stupid characters. And they're all based on like action hero movies and stuff. So there's like there's Broad, which is like a copy of Blade, the vampire character.
Yep.
And it's silly looking, but it looks awesome. So I bought it.
It's $3.74.
Yeah, like it's totally worth it. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but because Rocket League is life, but still.
Well, I was gonna say if you're going by Metacritic scores, it's like currently sitting at an 83.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
There's also 7 Days to Die is on sale. Cool zombie survival game. And anyone who has not played Borderlands is required to get it on sale.
I have never played Borderlands.
What?
Required to get it on sale.
Borderlands 2, Borderlands what? Borderlands.
Okay, Borderlands 1 is not on Linux, so don't worry about it. And also the story, I played it. The story's pretty much worthless. And,
there really isn't one.
Yeah, the only story is the tapes you pick up of the woman who eventually goes crazy. But there's really no reason. It doesn't matter. The story in 2 is fantastic and it's fun. It's kind of it's creative, but then they kind of do some cliche things. But overall, it's still fantastic. It's a fun game. It's like it's a cell shaded. That's okay. Cell shaded first person shooter with RPG elements.
Now, which one would you recommend, 2 or the pre-sequel?
2. So, okay, both of them, technically, get 2 because you get the DLCs, and they're like the Game of the Year edition is like probably like $6 now or something. I don't know. Game of the Year edition.
$8.80.
$8.80. Totally worth it because you get all of the DLCs with that, and there's one DLC that is fantastic by itself is worth buying.
Is that the Tiny Tina?
No, okay, 2 fantastic DLCs worth buying is what I meant to say.
That's what
£7.70 in the UK.
Yeah, so
Borderlands 2 Game of the Year.
Yeah, it's totally worth it. But it's just fun. It's a cool mechanic, and you like level up powers, and you get better guns, and all the guns are like really weird. There's one gun. There's a story part, like a side story in the game, where the gun is actually a robot that talks to you, and like you have to kind of appease it by shooting things and stuff. It's weird, but it's fun. And the pre-sequel is a sequel to Borderlands 1 and a prequel to Borderlands 2. So that's why they called it that.
So if you get the Borderlands Game of the Year edition, will you get all the stuff for Borderlands?
If you want to play, the Borderlands 1 is only for Windows. So if you want to play that, the Game of the Year edition always gives you the DLC.
Well, I have Windows.
As somebody is giving the eye roll in the nonchalant verbal look.
I'm just saying.
Frank, the ego of the gun is not really. It's more of it's a crazy psycho robot. So it's not really the ego. It's like it enjoys killing, and you're gonna do it anyway. So whatever. And you also don't keep that gun very long. It's just more like a fun side thing. And you'll probably have it for like 30 minutes or whatever if you want to keep it. But you can also just drop it and get more guns. And the guns are actually like you can sell them and get more and like upgrade your guns and stuff. It's pretty awesome. But it's a fun game. I think Borderlands is one of the best first-person like story games. And you can do co-op mode as well, which is pretty cool. The only bad thing about that is that you can do co-op with people who are like super powered, and then it's pointless. The only thing is make sure you do the story mode before the DLCs. Even though the DLCs are good, it's because you will gain certain level of power to the point where the story mode is way too easy. And I did that accidentally. So like I got like probably 5 or 6 levels higher than you're supposed to with a DLC, and then went into the story mode and I was like, it's too easy to dominate this thing right here. So don't do that. But it's still fun. But there's the Tiny Tina's story, which is like, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, it's amazing. It's Dungeons and Dragons story mode through Borderlands universe, and it's just fantastic.
There's just too many out here, man. Now I'm up to 67 on my wish list.
Borderlands totally worth it. You would not regret that one, especially because one of the DLCs is called the Badass Crater of Badassitude. It's one of the. It's so awesome because the main leader of the crater is like over the top. He's like a combination of Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, if they also were like action heroes combined with like Chuck Norris and Stallone. It's crazy. Like I actually reason I messed up split my levels was because I played that DLC first because the trailer for it was so awesome. I was like, I gotta play that. It's just too good. But BioShock Infinite's also on sale, which is good.
What the heck is that?
You ever played BioShock at all?
No.
Okay, BioShock is a first-person shooter that has like fantasy style, like sci-fi fantasy with. Okay, BioShock Infinite is pretty much nothing like the rest of them.
It's steampunk.
Yeah, it's a steampunk.
I played the first BioShock.
Okay.
I remember. I didn't finish it. I just started playing, played halfway through.
Okay, take the horror first-person shooter fantasy craziness of BioShock 1 in the underwater. Yep. Move that up into floating cities in this crazy, beautiful aspect. Keep the horror part, and that's kind of what Infinite is. But the cool part about it, one of the cool part is there's a character who you're sent to protect and take from one area to the next area, so that you're trying. She's like a princess or something. Okay. I don't remember exactly why you're protecting her, but the best part about it is that she does not need your protection. She helps you in the battles.
She'll throw you guns and ammo and that kind of stuff.
It's awesome. It's
Elizabeth.
Yeah. It's it's one of the cool characters because you don't have to worry that great, the stupid AI is just gonna make it worse, but the character makes it better actually.
I see they got a lot of DLC stuff as well.
Game of the Year edition.
Yep.
That's pretty much the best option, or season pass they call it. Same thing. It's only $2 extra really, so I totally get that. So you want another suggestion?
Oh my gosh, here we go. Yeah, go ahead.
Firewatch.
I actually have that on my wish list already.
It's fantastic. It's on sale for $9.
Well worth it.
But everything is like $2, $8, $9, $12, $2.
Don't think about don't forget
that
addition.
All adds up, dude.
Don't forget about addition. We're not talking about your trigonometry issues. We're just gonna.
This is why people's wallets cry when Steam sales go on.
Steam sale is the greatest thing about the summer, and you're like, Yeah,
it's
but
also
then
the worst.
you just crush my wallet. How dare you?
Well, I told Matt earlier about Quern.
About corn?
That's Quern.
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 Okay, I was about to say corn. I mean,
It looks like
high
an
fructose
awesome
corn syrup
game.
is not good for you.
It looks like an awesome game type like Myst type
Nice.
game.
Point and click?
What's that?
Point and click?
Yeah, like point and click. And the guy, I don't know if you ever seen him on YouTube, Artist Caleb. He's a does gameplay walkthroughs and tutorials and stuff. And he's actually he did the voiceover for one of the guys in the game itself. And I've been wanting it for a while, but it's $17.49 on sale on the Steam summer list.
Oh wow, that's kind of expensive for a sale.
Yeah, it hasn't been on sale, like it hasn't gone down like a really low sale. So, but it looks like a fantastic game.
There's somebody made a joke about how there's a sale on PlayStation Network downloadables, and it's like you're gonna save so much money on this chess game. This chess game is now, instead of $12, it's $11. You're welcome.
I got another one on my list like that called The Witness. It's kind of like the same type of figure out puzzles, point and click type game.
It's that was developed by Jonathan Blow. It was actually who made that game. He what was his other game?
But that looks like a pretty good type game if you're into that.
I haven't heard of that one. I'll check it out. There's
it's the guy who made Braid.
Oh, Braid's awesome. So
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
I'm not sure if it's available on Linux. I know Braid is, but
Yeah. Well, if it's not Linux, I don't want it. Like I actually do have GTA for Windows, but I haven't used Windows in.
It is not available on Linux. It is a Windows Mac only.
Oh, I think I have remembered. I think I have seen the trailer for that, and it was like, oh, is it on Linux? No, okay, I don't care.
Well, it looks like an awesome puzzle game, man. Like a point and click puzzle game. And my favorite game of all time, Mahjong Towers. Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know what? Okay, now if you think about it, Linux gamers have the best setup right now for the Steam Summer Sale. We can't buy as many because they don't work, and therefore
Correct.
we don't lose our money in their wallets all the time. See, Valve is thinking about us.
Yes, but it would be awesome if you could sort your wish list by platform. That would be a great help.
You can't?
Not that I know of. You can sort
Well,
it
I
by
just-
the
I only
date
put-
added or name. But...
I'm a purist, so I don't have Linux things on my wish list.
Oh, okay, all right.
oh,
Actually, that's not remotely true. They're all on Windows. But that's because nothing goes on my wish list unless it's like, I wish this will be on Linux someday.
Yeah.
That's it. I'll leave it there. Because I'll just buy the game if I want it. Actually, that's not true. I'll just wait until Steam Summer Sale and then I'll buy the game.
Well, this is not a sale. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands is on sale for $40. That's not a sale to me. I guess it's a sale for other people, but it's not a sale for me. Just saying. I shop at reuse it stores, dude.
Speaking of games on sale,
Yeah. What am I adding to my wish list next?
they don't have to. It's a silly, dumb game. It looks fun, but it's silly, and it's also not really that cheap. Slime Rancher.
Slime Rancher.
Yeah,
That sounds so
it's a
interesting that I would
first-person shooter
love
where
to
you're
play that.
basically like the slimes are sentient, and you're like a farmer of slime. It's so weird, but it looks like a fun, silly, nothing game.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Steam, for reminding me that I had put Soma on my Steam wish list. Awesome.
Hey, that's on sale.
$8.
Yep.
I know. Currently, I'm in the middle of playing other Linux games at the moment.
X-Plane's on sale. That's cool.
X-Planes?
Yeah, X-Plane. It's a flight simulator.
It's funny because I was never into the simulators, but that's why I never thought I would like American Truck Simulator, or American Truck whatever. And
is that X-Plane
maybe
11 you were talking?
Yeah, X-Plane 11.
Maybe I would like simulators.
Oh, X-Plane's cool because it's
40 quid.
Yeah, it's on sale, but it's still expensive. Super expensive. It's like 60 by default or something. But it's like a high-end AAA game or whatever. But it's a or simulator really. But it's cool because you can like do fighter jets and 747s and Cessnas and all kinds of stuff. And you're kind of like learning the techniques of how things are like function, the mechanics of the plane and stuff, and also like do a checklist before you take off and all this other stuff. It's kind of fun if you like that kind of like tediousness, but it is totally tedious.
I was gonna say, hey, Rocco, you don't want to see that Grid Autosport is on sale for $9 or $10.
What is
Grid Autosport? So that's something to test your steering wheel out.
Steering wheel out, yeah. Let me look at it.
Shadow of Mordor is on sale.
$4.
Oh, it's the best game ever made.
$4. I think I might get that.
It's worth it. It's worth it at 40. $4 is a steal.
Yeah, 80% off. Add to cart.
And what has this stream evolved into? This is what we're putting in our Steam.
Yeah, right.
What we're buying on Steam.
It should be the Steam wish list stream.
I've just closed Steam down. It's becoming too expensive.
It's an addiction.
I've just bought 3 games.
Well, that's the funny thing. Like, I messaged Rocco and I was like, I'm not buying any games on the Steam Summer Sale. Not even 3 minutes later, I'm like, I just bought 3 games.
Oh my gosh.
What? Awesome. Okay. Now, granted, this game sounds stupid. Totally is. Don't think about it, okay? Golf with your friends.
Really?
It sounds so dumb. And I've actually watched people play it on YouTube and Let's Plays. Because it looks fun as long as as people who you're playing with are fun about it. Because there's also like different things where you can change. It's not just about golf or mini golf. It's also like you can add collision so it becomes a battle.
What's it called?
Golf with your friends, and it just released on Linux. Because I was looking at it a couple months ago and it didn't work on Linux.
Well, I'll tell you what. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it's cool because you can do like all these combinations. You can make it where you can jump the ball, and you can make it where the ball is a puck instead. All kinds of craziness.
That is awesome. That is stupid cheap too.
Yeah, it sounds stupid, and it is, but it's still fun. It's still awesome looking.
Well, the reason I was going to say something is because, a few years ago, me and my brother would play Tiger Woods golf together on the computer, and we had a blast at it. I mean, we were making fun of each other, and it was a blast to play. So,
oh yeah, I mean, golf. In my opinion, golf is one of the most boring sports ever. But turn it into like a little arcade game, it sounds awesome. Especially considering each level of this game has these ridiculous things where there's like an Egyptian level where you have to shoot the ball into a sphinx's mouth. And that's like the only way to get a hole in one with it. You got to perfectly hit the mouth, and it's got to go around this loop thing. It's okay. I'm not doing it justice right now.
Hey, Michael, you want to explain why Wine isn't an emulator to somebody in the chat?
Oh, okay. So it's literally not. The name is called Wine is not an emulator. That's what Wine means. It's because people confuse what an emulator is and what Wine is, and that's not what they are. Wine is a compatibility layer that uses tools of Linux packages to work with Windows applications. So an emulator tries to pretend to be Windows, whereas Wine just tries to make certain applications work on the Linux platform. So that's why it's not an emulator.
And there you have it.
And there is the simplest answer to that question.
So what is a compatibility layer is the next question.
It reverse engineers DLL files and DirectX and things like that so that applications that are built specifically for Windows will run inside of the Wine layer. And the reason why it's not an emulator, because it's a perfect example, is because an emulator kind of keeps everything self-contained, where Wine does not. So if you were to install Wine, you actually could be susceptible to some viruses because of it. Like WannaCry, you could be susceptible to that. It can escape Wine's structure.
But that's if you're using I'm guessing here. That's if you're using like Firefox or Internet Explorer from the Windows end of it?
No. It's
like how would that affect you?
Well, I mean, there's a situation where it's a protocol issue with SMB. So you'd have to be not only using Wine, but you also have to be using SMB, and you'd have to be utilizing open shares of SMB and have them available to the public, or not
What's
to the public.
What's with the tail
internet.
behind you, dude?
Oh, it's my doggy.
He's awesome. He wants some attention, dude.
Is that
It's
a Great
actually a
Dane?
female dog, and it's gigantic for a female dog.
Is it a Great Dane?
Yeah, Great Dane.
Mhm.
My other dog is a Rottweiler mixed with a Shar Pei.
Wow.
Weird looking.
Yeah. Don't
I was
mess
going to
with
say that. It's a weird combo.
He is awesome, though. Well, actually, he hates everybody but me, but that's awesome. Right? I don't know.
Yeah. It's awesome for you.
It's fine. Yeah, fine for me.
Exactly.
So why do they not have anything to say? I don't know.
Sorry, I was looking at the Telegram. Oh my gosh. All right. Back to what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
Wine.
Wine.
Mine. I still don't know the reason why. Okay. I know why it's there and why it's used. I just don't find a use for it anymore. There's nothing that I need it for. Although, I will say that on my dad's computer, I tried to get. He hasn't found. He uses it. He uses the virtual magnifying glass, and in GNOME you can install it from the Software Center. I think, or one of them, Mate maybe you can install it from the Software Center.
Mate has one.
But some of them you can't. And when I try to use it from the source, like from GitHub, it doesn't act the right way. So the best way that it runs is through Wine. That's what we've come to the conclusion of. It doesn't hesitate. It doesn't stutter. So that is one use case for Wine, where that's one program that they have to have on that computer, and it runs the best on Wine rather than native in Linux.
Weird.
Just saying.
You know, it also has a fantastic zooming feature.
KDE.
KDE Plasma.
I know.
Not that
where
I
he
was
was going
going
with
to,
that.
like, always talk about KDE or nothing.
Well, he's running Peppermint right now, so and
There's your problem.
he's enjoying it.
Hey,
Hey.
Keep into you'll be fine.
I was gonna say I'm running Manjaro KDE, so
He honestly, he talked about going back to KDE because he ran KDE before, but he ended up settling on Peppermint and he loves it. So
Peppermint is like, I don't know. It's a distro that I want to like, but their community just makes me not want to.
Zeb, what do you have
Really?
to say about that?
What's wrong with the community?
Very stubborn people, typically. Most of the times I get response when I ask any questions, I just got shut down without with it basically saying we don't care, it doesn't matter.
Really?
And I've seen threads where they were kind of insulting to people, and it's wasn't me that they were insulting to, but it's just kind of it feels off. It's weird. I've talked to a few of them, then they're fantastic. There's a lot of people who are in Peppermint that are fantastic. It's just the overall feel is weird, in a mixed way of not hostile, just off-putting a little bit. They seem like they're trying to be user friendly in the sense of new to Linux users, but some of the way that I've seen the forum threads that they're not so much at all. And then there's a few that kind of jump in and actually are helpful. It's weird. I don't know how to describe it.
That's because I found that shocking. I've been on it since middle of 2015, and I'm actually a trusted user on there now. And there's one guy who may be sometimes seen as abrupt, but that's only because he's trying to teach people how to use a forum. And so many people come on there and search or won't search for anything, and they'll just ask the same question. So what he'll do is, should have used search, go and read this. But this contains the answer. Whereas when I answer those sort of questions, I'll say, look, if you'd have used this phrase in the search, you'd have found 15 articles that would have given you the answer. Here's 3 of them. So next time go and have a look yourself. And then if you can't find something, come back. So I'm a little shocked about that, because that's the one thing that at Peppermint we're proud of, the help we give people. So I don't know, when was the last time you went there?
5 months ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's, as I say, I find that disturbing. I'll have a word with the lads, because that's not the way it should be.
I'll give you a link with one of the examples, because I think I still have it. But it was also, I don't know, there was some situations where I saw one guy went there and probably did the silliest thing possible as a new user. Start talking about why Windows is good. So that thread became kind of vindictive in the sense of it didn't you could just ignore it, right? This guy is already made up his mind, he doesn't care. So what's the point of responding at that point? So it was that kind of situation where that thread just kind of went into this weird I don't know, battle thing, and that to me feels counterproductive for what your goal is. So, and this is also someone who can be abrasive and sometimes as well, but I just think that if you're front-facing community help thing has that kind of responsiveness, it's kind of, I don't know, disappointing. Especially if you're focusing on a new to users thing or new to Linux users. That's the prime person is a Windows user. So if you, and there's some people look at this concept of you don't like something they are using, therefore you don't like them. That makes no sense at all.
Absolutely not. No, yeah.
It's crazy, but it's a very common perception. And it's like when someone says I like Manjaro, and I say I kind of hate Manjaro.
I hate Manjaro.
That's because you can't get it installed.
Well, I hate Manjaro because of their policies, and Mueller says in ridiculously nutty stuff. But it doesn't mean I have a problem with anyone who uses Manjaro. I don't care. But there are some people who would take offense to me saying I hate Manjaro.
I still like you, Matt.
I didn't say it. Okay. I just implied it. Different.
It's all good.
But yeah, Peppermint's actually, there's some cool things in Peppermint too. I really wish they would make ice somewhere usable outside of Peppermint. And I know that's not really the purpose, and they don't really need to, because it's they made it for Peppermint and it makes sense.
But you can. It's on GitHub or wherever it is.
Yeah, I can port it. No, that's not using it. That's just that's one of the things I had. It was a thread about where I asked if it was usable on Ubuntu because Peppermint's based on Ubuntu 1604. Can I use it on 1604? Yeah, kind of. You probably could, but it's not going to be. We can't guarantee it'll work because we haven't tested that. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not going to use it then. It's kind of just a situation where they don't necessarily need to, but when someone says the response of it's on GitHub, the source is there, you can fix it yourself, that's a disingenuous response because it does. That's not what you mean. You mean deal with it, figure it out yourself. It's not a legitimate response. And I know you're not being. I didn't mean it to you, but I mean in the general. Like the guy who responded to me that way was the guy who created Peppermint. So it was just that kind of response from the top guy is a disappointing.
What, Shane or the other guy?
I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
I can send you the thread for it too, but I don't remember.
Yeah, because PC NetSpec is not like that at all. He's the guy who's now taken over, and he's based in the UK. Because the other two guys from America have left. No, those two guys are now nothing to do with the project. They've gone. They've left. They've gone to do other things.
When they leave.
Well over a year ago, they were gone when I got there. And as I say, the main guy there now is PC NetSpec, and he'll help anyone. Literally
it's not.
anyone.
It wasn't him. Then. Yeah. I remember that name being helpful. I've seen him respond to a lot of things.
Well, he's got over 15,000 responses on it. He's the main technical guy. But what was that Linux distribution on Arch that everybody liked, but it's just gone down? Not Antigos, the other one. Apricity?
Apricity, yeah.
Yeah, they used ICE.
Yes, they did.
It's
one of the features.
But it still only worked on Apricity. It didn't work on all of Arch.
I looked for it and I tried to install it, but I did find a deb file for it somewhere. I don't know where I found it. And
I think it is on AUR as well. I think someone did port it for the AUR, but
so I do have it installed on my system now.
It's a weird situation where they have no obligation to make it work anywhere else, and I don't expect them to. I would just like them to respond with, well, we're focusing on Peppermint, and I would rather unfortunately, we can't help you with this situation, but you're welcome to use Peppermint. That's a fantastic response, and that's a reasonable response. We don't have time to work on it for other distros. Fine, cool, no problem. It's the, do it yourself, figure it out response that just annoys me. Yeah, I can totally do it. I could figure it out. I don't have the patience to do it. So you already did it. And you're basing on the platform that I'm also using on a different spin. Maybe it should work, but the response is just ridiculous. And also if you try to find the ICE stuff, the PPA is so broken and confusing. There's 3 different PPAs and they all point to each other, and the actual PPA you want is not pointed to. So when he said, well, you could have found this and figured out and blah, blah, I was like, no, I couldn't, because I found your other PPAs that point to each other and completely skipped that third one that's actually useful. That's also kind of disingenuous. And he's the one, and actually, no, whoever responded might not be the one who made it. It could be a legacy person of whoever founded it, and they're not aware, which I wasn't even aware that there was a management transition thing. So my perception could be flawed because of that transition thing.
Yeah, well, definitely, if you're interested in it, jump on there and have a chat with PC NetSpec. He will offer you some help. Definitely, he's that type of guy.
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at ICE, it sounds awesome. I can create web apps with a individual browser, and I'm not required to use Chrome. Awesome. Using Firefox as the engine is a fantastic idea. Yeah,
I think at the moment it works with Firefox, Chrome, Google, and Vivaldi.
Yeah.
So we've ported it.
Basically, it works with Chromium and Firefox, essentially.
Yes, yeah, because the other 3 are the same, yeah.
They're all the same, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the reason why I liked it, because when I first played with ICE was 4 years ago or something, when they first announced it. Whenever that was, I don't remember. It was a while ago. But when I first played with it, I was like, this is fantastic. I can't use it anywhere else, but it's fantastic because the biggest problem that Chrome has is the stupid stupid session management, like absolute terrible, atrocious garbage that people love Chrome. And so Chrome is so fantastic. You can make web apps with Chrome. Oh yeah, you can make one of any particular site. And if you happen to be using that site on your regular Chrome browser, you cannot make a different web app. There is no session management. Everything is all into one session. You have to switch profiles, which, what's the point of making individual apps if you're going to have to switch profiles on them? Who cares at that point? I solved one of the biggest issues, and it still had some lingering problems at Chromium's web app system because Chromium web system is terrible. But it solved one of that. But then when I saw that they were doing Firefox, I was like, oh, well, now that's so much better because Firefox doesn't suffer from the same problem. And I haven't tried it since the Firefox part came out, but I will soon.
Cool.
Because I do like the idea, and I actually have created my own like web app solution with Chromium.
Reluctantly.
There's actually a fantastic app I found. I'm making a video about it, so I should probably keep it quiet. But I like talking about things. There's an app called Nativefire. Nativefire. Weird thing to say. What it does is create an Electron app based on whatever you want it to do. You say, make me an app for this particular website. It will create a bundle and build a web app for it. And that has individual sessions and all that good stuff, like Electron apps. So you basically create your own. It's an auto tool for creating Electron apps. And it's fantastic. And you can even have custom user agents. You can have custom like style sheet that you're importing and stuff like that. It's great. And one of my favorite things is that it uses the Electron. The framework of using Electron on Linux is fantastic because Electron uses the home folder structure. So if you build a framework, you build something with Nativefire, you're not really limited to what that one application you just built because all your settings are in the home folder. So you can say, oh, I need to make a change because I didn't build it the right way I wanted to. And you just rebuild it and you have a brand new version of your Electron app. And all your settings are still there.
Nice.
So
you just let the hat out of the bag. Might as well not make the video.
No,
right?
there's still more I haven't told you about.
Oh, okay.
He's still holding some back.
I have so much to tell you. Things.
I was gonna say he's not gonna give everything all away.
Yeah, if you want to watch my video, then
exactly.
That'd be rude.
I watch your videos, dude.
It's easy because I make one every 2 weeks or something.
Post up your links, then we'll subscribe.
Tux Digital.
Tux Digital, yeah. You can actually go to tuxdigital.com /YT. You don't need the slash technically. Oh, I can't do it because I'm not allowed to, sir.
I will post it.
Oh,
have no fear. Wait, I just did Tux Digital and it took me to your YouTube page, dude.
That's literally what it's doing. Yeah, I know. I haven't finished the website because I'm building my own CRM because I'm meticulous and picky. So, whatever. I haven't finished it. Just like my videos, I haven't finished.
That's weird. I'm already subscribed, but I don't get any notifications from you.
You got to click the bell.
Yeah, you got to click the bell, man.
Or it's clicked. It's got the little bell.
Okay, I know one. Okay, the problem is I'm not uploading.
The problem is he's got to actually upload a video for you to.
But this one was 1 week ago. Canonical Gnome Hackfest.
Yes.
Huge GOG.
That's my Linux news show, which I was going to release my other episode that was going to be last week. And I kind of messed up in the sense of not doing that. So I'm going to release 2 this week. Unfortunately, that makes me kind of a jerk because it's like, hey, guess what? It's 1 week is out of date, sort of, but the other one's still up to date. So
you're only a week behind, man.
I'm changing the structure of my show too, and that might piss off some people. I don't know.
What are you changing?
A lot of the production problem with the show is the visuals. I have a ton of visuals, and they're all custom. Like every topic has a title underneath at the bottom, and it has like a frame on the other side that has all like some details about the thing, and then there's like social media stuff on the right, and then there's like animations and stuff that happen. So 60% of the show is visual development, and that hurts the time crunch of making a new show. Like I pay attention to the news anyway, so I already know what's going on. So that's why I made the show. And making the show and recording the voice took like writing a script, recording the content takes a total of an hour for me. Making the video visual elements takes like 4 hours, maybe 5, depending on how much video is involved and how much still shots are involved. So it's like a huge burden of the visuals. And I don't want to do a podcast only and just have like one logo on the thing the whole time, because that's boring to me.
Right.
So I'm considering changing it to like a talking head thing, where you're on the screen just talking, and then like every once in a while pop up a visual that's necessary, because not all the time is the visual necessary. Like a lot of the time it's not. So if I were to just create overlays instead of recording individual segments separately, it would be a lot faster. It would probably cut out at least 3 hours of the work. So
that's a lot of time, man.
It is.
So that's why
time for one video.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also not remotely a popular video series of mine. Like I have series that are like 10,000, and I got series that are like 4,000 or 5,000, and I think the max I got on this was like 2,000. So it's not justified.
Well, these live talks are not justified either. For me, as for my channel, a lot of the videos will get 1,000 views or more, and these live shows maybe get a couple hundred at the most. But yeah, they're more fun to do.
Yeah, they're more fun to do, and they also don't require like you're not putting in an excessive amount of effort. It's the amount of effort involved in this live show is the time you're taking for the live show.
Right.
And that's about it.
Which last week was 4 hours.
There's not hours of prep, etc. Yeah.
Last week was a 4-hour show.
That's true, but you have a 4-hour show that took you 4 hours to make.
Yes.
I have a 20-minute show that takes me like 6 hours, 7 hours to make.
Yep.
The discrepancy there is a little awful.
Yeah. Well, you've just gone over 3 hours this week as well.
Are we over 3 hours? Oh my gosh, it's 1:45 in the morning.
Yep. I've only been here for like 10 minutes.
It's 5:45 in the morning here.
Oh my gosh. I gotta get up for work tomorrow. What the heck?
You should just, become a full-time YouTuber and just screw that all.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It would. That's what I'm trying to do.
That would be great, but...
Not really, but, It's not impossible, but,
It's not impossible, but it's way not possible.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
It's almost impossible, dude.
97% impossible. I'll give it 3 just to be generous.
Yeah. To me, if you're going to be successful in YouTube, like you have to not sell out, but you have to not be okay.
You have to sell out.
You have to not sell out, but you have to sell out.
Yes. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, there's no way to make it. I mean, like, I do videos because I want to do the videos, and I don't do a video on, say, every distro. I do videos on distros that I think are good, that I've tested out, that I've ran for a little while anyway, I don't want to do a video on a distro that I never even heard of and I never even saw, and well, it's really not that good, but here's a video on it. I want it to be genuine. I want it to be, you know, if I'm going to make a video on this, I want you to say, hey, this is a good, maybe I want to try this. Otherwise, I don't really want to do it. Like, there was distros that I downloaded, and I'm not even going to mention what they are, but I mean, I downloaded them and I was going to do a video on them. I'm like, no, this is terrible. I'm not even going to do a video on it.
I feel you. I was going to say there's a few distros I can think of that are one of those. Yeah, we're not going to run that ever again.
Ever. I mean, never would I ever run this distro, and never would I suggest it to anybody. And why would I make a video suggesting it to somebody then? So,
there are situations where I would totally make a video on a terrible distro, just so people don't waste their time. Because there are times, there's so many distros that don't need to exist. Like, I don't know, some respin of a respin of a respin. I don't, stop it. You're not doing anything innovative. You're not doing anything unique. You're not doing anything important. If your entire point is to take Manjaro and put a skin on it and put some specific defaults applications in it, stop it. Like, so many people do that. And it's just like, you need to chill out on the useless distros, please.
So would you consider something like Maybox a useless distro, which is basically Manjaro with OpenBox configuration to save the user the hassle?
Is there an OpenBox version of Manjaro?
That's it, Maybox. Manjaro just does, I think, the 3 flavors: GNOME, XFCE, and KDE. This is a community spin.
That's not a respin then. I mean, that's a community edition. I mean, a
community edition, yeah.
Yeah, a community edition is like a flavor. So, like, if you, I'm also making a video that explains the difference between flavors and forks and ports and distros and, you know, whatever. There.
When is that video coming out?
Really
Let me check my schedule for a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to have a schedule first.
At some point.
I'm sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
I'm eventually going to do something that's important that people should probably want to see it and might actually enjoy it. And that, anyway, so respins are...
so something like, have you heard of Voyager?
I haven't heard of it.
Which is basically Ubuntu, and then he puts a load of extra trickery on there. He gives you lots of terminal things that do stuff. He flashes up all the... it's basically Ubuntu, and then he just tarts it up.
Useless.
It's kind of like Ultimate Edition. It's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So you could have eventually learned that yourself and done it yourself, so to speak.
Yeah, if the only thing you did is install a theme, install applications, and change some configurations in one of those 2 first things, useless. Don't make it. Like, you're competing on a level of worthlessness. What happens if the kernel breaks and you don't have a supported version you've updated your core to? Oh, you're useless and you can't fix it. Stop it. That's the problem. And then there's situations like Pinguy, perfect example of worthless distro. Hey, it's a GNOME app distro that's based on Ubuntu that has like 4 gigs of stuff installed for no reason. And it has 3 docs on it for why? I don't know. Like, pointless. There's also like, there's other Robo Linux is another example of worthless. Just straight up worthless.
I was going to say Sudo Reboot just had a long live stream about exactly how he feels about Robo Linux.
Oh yeah, I missed that one.
If you said it's awful, I agree completely, and it's disingenuous, ridiculous garbage.
Basically, I believe he said it was essentially a scam.
It's worse than a scam. It's an incompetent scam.
Yeah, it's not even a good spin. I mean, at least Voyager works really, really well, and he has saved you all the effort if you like what he's done of using it. But Robo Linux, all their versions are just crap.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I get your point about respins being useless, but it depends on how it's done, and if you want that type of thing. Like New Runner, I would say you would probably say is a respin of Manjaro. But
you mean Netrunner?
No, New Runner.
New Runner.
No, I know
Never
what
heard of that one.
It's Manjaro. It's the continued rolling release of Netrunner, essentially.
Because Netrunner went to KDE Neon, didn't they?
What will they happen? What will happen when New Runner is no longer new? Current Runner, maybe.
Well, look, but for me, I would consider running New Runner over Manjaro because I like the way it's set up. So yeah, I get the point that respins can be useless for certain people, but for other people, they may not be.
So here's the reason why I say they're useless. The guy who made Voyager could be making a really cool add-on to Ubuntu. Hey, you have Ubuntu, install this, and then bam, you got something that's cool and enhances your thing. You don't need a whole other distro competing against Ubuntu when Ubuntu is 99% of the distro. Like that's the problem.
Saying he could have updated his config files for Terminal or Terminator as he uses it.
Yeah, he could say, here's a shell script that will install the things and set up the configs the way I would suggest you do so in Voyager. And you can say, oh, cool. But the best thing would be like a script that has like a questionnaire thing. Do you want this feature and this feature and this feature? So you have a choice between, like, that would be fantastic for respins to do. If they just became modifiers of like layouts and stuff. Like Plasma created their new look and feel system, which is kind of the same idea. But I don't want someone to take the look and feel system and create a distro on it. Just make a package and sort of release the package. It's the same kind of thing with most of these distros that are like that. Like anyone who takes, an XFCE distro and then makes another XFCE distro on it, like, what's the point? Take what you have and create and provide like for example, Linux Lite is a good example of what they could do, because Linux Lite is a fork of Ubuntu, but it has an interesting, innovative like installer feature where you can have like these apps and you can do like a choose between like what features you want of different apps, like the same kind of thing I was talking about. I don't like the fact that it's a terminal based system, but I think they're working on changing that. Maybe they have, I don't know. But like that concept on top of Ubuntu would be awesome. But making your own distro for the same purpose just seems redundant. And we already have thousands of redundancies in Linux. We don't need more and more and more and more. Like, I want people to be innovative and I want people to do things. But if you're going to make a distro, do something.
So in other words, go the Ike route.
You don't have to do that. But you can do something.
I take it you don't like Solus then?
No, I like Ike, and I've talked to him all the time. Mostly on Mumble. We've had a lot of arguments, you might guess. But overall, I think he makes a great distro, and I don't agree with some of the things he does in it, but overall, I think it's fantastic, and I think the Brisk menu is an awesome solution for a huge problem in the Mate desktop world. So that's fantastic, and he's taking something that he's not necessarily making a respin of Solus for the sole purpose of making a respin. He is being paid by the Mate and Ubuntu Mate team to make a Mate menu, and he uses a Solus Mate edition to test the Brisk menu and things like that. That's a solid reason to have one, and I have no problem with that. It's the issue that some distros have no reason to exist, like have no reasons that couldn't be just done in a package of installing package or something like that. Like it's just excessive, and we already have the most fragmented, redundant ecosystem ever. I don't think we need to make it worse.
So people who take a distro, make it their own, and then system back it, and then send it out. Pointless,
Sure.
Yeah?
If they want to make their own packages and make it like custom and release that as a thing you can install on top of what you already have, fantastic. Because then they wouldn't have to worry about making your own distro, maintaining all the packages, updating for every release that comes out. They just make things that, hey, you already have this, great, install this. You get these other things that make that nicer. Like, for example, if someone has a package that installs Numix easily, or like Mocha icons or something like that, and just installs like Arc theme with the Mocha icons and the other stuff, that would be a cool thing to share to people. Like, people might like that. Here's this whole this suite of themes and stuff that you can get, and it'll enhance your thing. That would be a great solution. But I don't need a distro solely for that purpose.
Correct.
Correct.
I didn't talk forever, did I?
No, not forever.
Just most of it. Okay.
Just an hour went by.
Oh.
How's them t-shirts?
I've only been here for 10 minutes. What are you talking about?
How's them t-shirts selling?
Surprisingly well.
That's
actually. Good. The fact that there was more than one was...
What?
Yeah.
More than one?
Well, I was shocked with one. But it was more than one. It was 5.
Wow.
Exactly. And I was expecting 0. So I'm happy. I'm happy that people like my art enough to get it on a shirt. Like, that's cool to me. But so anyway, distros don't need to be excessive, and that's all. And DistroWatch doesn't need to like talk about every little thing that changes.
Don't need to exist.
That too. It doesn't need to exist. So the news part of DistroWatch is nice. The DistroWatch rankings are awful and useless and terrible and make people confused about what they are, and they need to be go away immediately.
But the top ones are the most popular ones.
I've heard that so many times it makes me like just want to facepalm. But like,
I hear you.
I want to get a pie first to facepalm with a pie in my hand. And I don't mean like a lemon pie. I mean like a raspberry pie, so it hurts even more.
And stains on white t-shirts, yeah.
Exactly. But it's funny because it's like DistroWatch people I've seen like, well, Linux Mint is so popular because DistroWatch says it's like number 1. It's like, okay, so have you heard of Ubuntu? Right? Okay, have you heard of Ubuntu and Ubuntu and Kubuntu? Are those all separated on DistroWatch?
Yep.
Yeah, they are. Is Linux Mint separated by the KDE edition and the Mate edition and the Cinnamon edition? No.
That's a negative.
So broken.
So guess which one's probably actually more popular? The Ubuntu's. Oh.
You know what's fantastic about that too? I asked them, how do they keep track of their Linux Mint thing? Because Linux Mint doesn't even change its user agent in its browser. It says Ubuntu. How do you know it's Linux Mint?
Way
we
to
have
go,
our ways. That's what they said. They wouldn't tell me how. We have our ways. We have a proprietary thing that we do that makes it where we can tell. Like, weird, dude. Weird.
And this is why I don't use Linux Mint.
No, not Linux Mint. It's not their fault. DistroWatch.
Oh, DistroWatch.
Proprietary method to figure out it's Linux Mint. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's pretty hard to figure out that, ain't?
I don't know how they would figure it out, like, because there's no signal from Linux Mint.
Yeah, but isn't the DistroWatch count simply the number of people who visited that page?
No, it's that page plus the user agent of the person who's there going to DistroWatch, period. That kind of counts too. And what other random thing else that they want to say.
Well, yeah, because as you just said, if Mint says I'm Ubuntu, how the hell are they doing it?
Magic?
I was going to say, what was that song by Godsmack? Voodoo, I believe it was called.
So how long y'all going to go with this stream again?
Like, we're going to end, like, now.
Okay.
Why? What do you got?
Well, I was just going to give you this huge speech about how the Linux community is not hostile and we need to fix that situation. But if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine.
One of those. Yeah.
Or we could talk about the GPL.
No.
No.
Well,
Okay.
this
How
is
about
all good stuff we could
GNU/Linux?
save.
It's really Linux. Come at me.
It's GNU/plus Linux.
I mean,
That's actually funny. Here's the thing I will tell you that it is a part of my video that another thing. There is no such time where Richard Stallman ever said the thing that people make fun of him for. May I interject for a moment? What you're referring to as GNU is Linux is actually GNU/Linux, or I'm referring to as recently as never said it.
Never said it.
Ever. Never. It is completely made up. Guess where it came from?
I don't know.
4chan.
Minus.
Really?
4chan is a joke in 2009 making fun of Stallman, and it became a thing that people think he said. And he never said it. The funny thing is, the reason why it works and makes people confused, there are 3 paragraphs in that quote, 2 of which are copy and pasted from the GNU.org website. The second and third paragraph are just copy pasta. And that's why people think that he actually said it, even though the first thing completely invented by 4chan.
What are you gonna
Fantastic, right? It's actually a good troll, technically. You gotta admit that's a good troll. But still.
So why doesn't he deny it?
He does. I asked him. He does.
He does.
He said, I've never seen that sentence, but that's, paragraph before, so I don't know what that is. I actually found out the second, third thing, copy pasta thing on my own, so I didn't even send it to him. I sent him the first part, and he said, yeah, I've never seen that before. I don't know who that is. So he totally denies it. He doesn't deny it publicly because he doesn't really probably even know that much that it's happening, because he doesn't pay attention to most things.
But it probably appears 50 times a day on G+.
Maybe.
Discussions about bits and
But he
pieces.
doesn't go to G+ because G+ is like proprietary stuff and blah, blah.
Of course.
So does that mean, then again, it's Stallman, that means he probably doesn't use about 99.9% of the web anyway.
Probably. And the only way he does it is weird. He gets pages down and the content down and doesn't actually go to the site.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah. He just, and it's also how he gets email too. W gets his email. So there's very reasonable potential that he's never seen it. It's possible.
Well,
and the reason why,
and as fun and interesting as this Richard Stallman conversation is,
freedom.
Oh,
I think I'm gonna go to bed. Actually,
you have the freedom to do so.
I have work tomorrow. Duty calls. But you guys are all welcome back next time. I will continue the Richard Stallman conversation.
Oh, absolutely. I have so many more anecdotes. I don't know if that's true, but I might have I do have one. Stay tuned.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, okay, so I do work. No, I'm off next week, so maybe we'll do it next week. Yeah. Okay. So maybe same bad time, same bad channel next week.
Absolutely.
And do revisit Peppermint. Talk to PC NetSpec about ICE.
I totally will. I planned on doing a rehash of a lot of distros, and Peppermint's on the list to check out again.
Good.
Because I'm going to start doing reviews and stuff, super in-depth reviews that people are going to be bored by. So, fantastic.
Look forward to it.
All right, guys.
See you later.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.